You're on.
We live? All
You're
right, we're
live.
live. Holy crap.
That we are.
Welcome. Come one, come all. Welcome. It is Friday, May 14th. This is the Long Live Junto podcast. This is your host, Coach, speaking. We have a full house yet again with us tonight. We have Beef, Goichi, and Nightmare Field tagging along for the ride. We are glad that you guys are joining us. It has been another successful week here on planet Earth for all of us, as we're all alive still. Boys, how we all doing tonight?
Chilling. Another week down.
Yeah. I'm doing well.
We're all
It's
breathing.
Friday.
Yeah, more or less.
Well, you know what? We have, as is tradition so far on Long Live Junto, we have our reflection of the week where we get to discuss things that have happened since the last time that we graced the presence of everyone here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick names out of a figurative hat here, and we're going to start with Nightmare Fuel for the reflection.
Oh man, nice hat grab right there.
Thank you.
Week was good. After our last week fireside chat, that weekend I had a family get together. It was really good. We celebrate all the May birthdays. I think I touched on it last podcast. Our family has like 5 or 6 birthdays in May, so we all like just combine them into one, and it was really good. I was at my aunt and uncle's till like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Dang.
Yeah, we were
Nice.
just playing cards, hanging out, talking. It was good to get back together for like the first time since COVID.
What kind of food?
It was burgers and hot dogs,
Okay.
and then assorted appetizers.
Nice.
Yeah, my mom made the macaroni salad,
Oh, nice.
and it was really
Oh,
yeah.
Did they watch your live stream as like a roof?
Huh? They have not watched
They
it.
should have put us in the
really
background.
Oh yeah, they should have. We should have just had it
Yeah.
going as a
The right way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Then Mother's Day. Mother's Day was really good. I went to picked up my mom, and we went as a family to see my grandma in her nursing home. Hung out there for a while, and then me and my dad made dinner for her. My dad made ribs, and
Oh,
they were really good.
Awesome.
And I made mashed potatoes. That's another one thing I'm really good at cooking. I will say that I make good mashed potatoes. Going into the week, Monday I had bowling league, and I had taken last week off because like my hand was like super sore.
Did not play for rest.
Huh?
What do they do in the NBA?
Oh yeah, no, I
What's
definitely
the-
I load managed last week. You know, I
Load
wanted
managed,
to I wanted to get back, so I took a week off, and then this week coming back I tried out a new release point, and it really helped. Like my hand still feels really good, and I bowled pretty well. I think you bowl three games, and then so there's 3 games, and then there's you compile all those scores, and then that's your 4th game against the team you're playing. So my first game I bowled 153.
Wait, I'm not following.
So
yeah.
so there's 3 games. There's 3 games you bowl,
Mhm.
and then those 3 scores combined with your team, that goes against your opponent's 3-game score, and that's the 4th game. That's the 4th game that is the total of all the scores.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
gotcha.
So my first game I bowled 153. Second I bowled 168, and then third 170.
Whoa,
So I'm being consistent, but it's funny that like I'm consistent like that, but I always seem to leave pins like up. Like there's pins on the table to be had. Like I could definitely get to 190, 200, but I just need to get that consistency. Then I had a couple good gaming streams. Had some good moments. G joined me here for one of them. Or was it both of them? I think both of them.
Probably just one.
I think
Probably
both of them.
just- Maybe.
I think both of them. Yeah. And then we're gonna have some videos coming out of those.
You played?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I usually
awesome.
play
Yeah,
with
yeah.
them.
Oh, I
yeah.
didn't know
On
that.
Call of Duty.
It was fun. Yeah. So we should have some clips of that coming up in the week, next week, and then I actually took over cooking Junto this week with some fried chicken, and it came out so good, so damn good. It was. Oh man, I can't wait for you guys to be able to cook this for you guys. I was saying during the stream, I don't know if you heard, I love cooking for you guys, and because it just that when you cook something good for someone and they like really like it, it's such a great gratifying feeling. But that was my week. Yeah, a lot of Junto stuff. a lot of just hanging out. Yeah.
Nice.
That's it for me, Coach. That's a pretty
Yeah.
busy week.
All right. We're gonna reach back into this figurative hat here, and I'm gonna go with Goichi next.
All right. It's been good. The week started off calm, and then Thursday, man, it was hell for me. Work was just crazy. When you work in sales, it feels like you're in an ocean on a small boat, and it's like the waters could be calm one day, and then the next day, or even overnight, you could hit a storm, and you have to stick with the ship, or else you go under. And I mean, I just feel like in sales, it comes in waves for me, and Thursday was definitely a tsunami, but. That's the great thing about living, you always have tomorrow. And that's pretty much what happened to me is like I had a rough day on Thursday, but today, like I was able to recoup and catch up on things I needed to do and, take care of my clients and, everything worked out and hopefully next week more good things to follow. But, yeah, it was stressful, but I'm glad it's Friday and I'm just hanging out with you guys doing the stream. So definitely a good time.
Awesome.
Big good times.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Beef, how about for yourself?
I did. So we had Mother's Day. We went to Lazy Dog, and then the food has gotten not to insult Lazy Dog, but the food has not gotten. It's gotten worse. So I feel like through the pandemic, it's gotten worse. I don't know. Lazy Dog was always like one of those like go-to places, and it started to like. I don't know if the pandemic or it's what we got.
What'd you get?
We got breakfast, and we got this like
That's not
French
a good sign.
toast. We got the French toast that we had gotten one time when you and I were golfing. I think actually, Nightmare was there too, and they did like a smaller portion, and and they've cut out so much stuff in the menu already during the COVID, but it was rough.
Change up their menu a lot. I do recall that.
Sometimes that works, and then sometimes it's like
they cut out chicken tenders like 4 years ago, and I've never let it go.
And they're deviled eggs.
Yeah, the deviled eggs, and then the ahi. They got rid of the ahi poke. That wasn't bad, and it's just crazy.
Oh, you love that little bar.
The steak and the steak Benedict.
Yeah,
Once they took that away, that was
what killed it. That's like a
breaking point.
Yeah, for me, that was like the one where. So we had that, and it was with my mom. It's cool being outside and seeing my mom.
You took Walter?
We took Walter. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was cool.
Our mascot.
Absolutely.
We put him in the in his little carriage, and
Junto
then
puppy.
and yeah, we did that, and then Monday I talked last week about I struggled with softball, like where I got like a lot of anxiety. So I played Monday, and man, it was I was like just. It was funny because the first 2 innings I was sitting there and I was feeling it again, the anxiety, and I'm like, God, I hope they don't hit the ball to me. And then I sat there and I was like, you know what, fuck it, like hit the ball to me, like just come at me. And that's all I thought. And then once I felt that thought, it was funny because whatever it was, they were teeing off over at me. And so literally I was like, I didn't have one drop ball, and I had one diving play where I got it, and then I like tracked down everything. So it was one of those games where I was like really on, and then I had like a crazy throw where a guy tried to tag up from third, and in softball it's really hard to throw out in a runner, but I threw out the runner at home, and it was like
the catcher caught it.
Catcher caught it, yeah.
Oh my, that's the big part.
Our pitcher moved over to home plate and caught it,
Oh.
but like I didn't even care. I was just like, because we were only up by 2 runs, and we had we finished the game. We were the home team, but I took the ball and I just like chucked it, and it was literally like.
So he was at second, rounding third.
He was at third.
He was at third.
Third, yeah. So that caught the ball.
Oh shit!
So I caught the ball and then just like gunned it, and
damn.
I wouldn't say I was like super far back.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. It wasn't like I was like on. I wasn't like I was.
Softball's close, so.
Yeah, it's like it. Well, even like how you can't go past the cone area or there's a line area. I was way past that area too, so it was like. Like I had a good jump and I just chucked it, and I wouldn't say it was like a beam, but it was definitely like a little lob on it, and it was like perfect to the guy. Yeah, and
nice.
So I had that, and then I smacked. I had like I think 5 RBIs, and I was like 4 for 4, and then I took 5 plate appearances, and then I smacked it where if the guy doesn't catch this ball, it's a home run. I was rounding first, and I was on my way to second, and he caught the ball, and I was just sitting there. I was like, damn. I was like, if he misses it, I'm scoring on that play. And
was the peanut gallery quiet this time?
Yeah. So you talking about our team?
Yeah.
Sorry, the girl that like. The funny part is that girl actually had a really good game too. So, but she laid off, and a lot of the team laid off after that, And it was funny because all the guys on the team gave me like a lot of moral support. It's one of our friends. I know you guys met Jacob, and it's his sons, and they're all like kind of like they're like, man, you're playing really well today, and like pumping me up, and so is Jacob. And then all the women are like not saying anything and like not supportive at all.
Only when they get their chance to break you down. When
Yeah,
you're already down.
Yeah,
low.
it
Well,
sounds
it's funny
about
because
right.
like it's the other way around. We're always cheering
Yeah.
them on, and it's just and not to say that's like a woman man thing, but like for sure that team, it's a woman man thing where
I can confirm. I've been on that team.
yeah, it's like
I can confirm 100%.
yeah, it's just like why are
How
like,
do
we
you
saw-
not have like the slightest bit of hand-eye coordination?
Yeah, some of the team. Well, that's the thing is they cut out a lot of those girls,
Yeah.
and I would say a lot of the girls like they're getting solid contact, all of them, the
Oh,
ones on their
sweet.
team. So they're not like bad players where you're like if they talk crap to you, it's not like you're like, oh, you're horrible, you're super horrible, but they're still not as good as like anything that like what a lot of the guys are on the team. And so, but yeah, what I didn't appreciate was like I'm having one bad day, and I'm like after like 3 seasons of great work, yeah, you're right, like because it took that time, but yeah, so Monday was good, and then I had a rough week at work, and so I was just really grateful to be here. So I'd say that's about it, Coach.
That's good. Well, I mean, I'm glad to hear that softball definitely has been going better. So you can shut up the critics when you're out there.
Prove the haters wrong.
Exactly. For myself, it's been yet another like I want to say relaxing, I guess. I mean maybe relaxing compared to like the rest of the year so far for me for coaching, just because finals have concluded. Now it's officially I guess it's officially summer. They have like a May term here that's optional for kids if they want to take extra classes, but
that's great.
that's like I guess that's like technically summer school since college gets out like before high school and everybody else does. But yeah, it's officially summer break, so like all my summer programs have been sent out to my athletes. We have open hours this week for the gym, which, as you may suspect, after school got out, a lot less kids started coming in to lift. Everybody went home. I just saw the cars with like their trunks of the back doors open, everyone packing all their shit in the car, getting the hell out of here. So it's definitely a lot quiet. It's a lot more quiet on campus. Like we have like private streets around campus, and then there's just like a bunch of homes. So it's like half the time when I park for work, if I do drive and I'm lazy, I'm parking in front of like residential homes, and usually it's like really full because we have a set of dorms nearby. But now there's like I could park wherever the hell I want because like nobody's left here on campus right now. So it's been pretty quiet. It's been kind of nice. If anybody caught my Junto session today or has seen the video for it, I had mentioned that I've definitely had a week of another solid week of training, getting back into stuff. I had my first chiropractic appointment this week, which I've been wanting to do for a while now. And I got to be honest, I did not know that for someone who didn't have a screwed up back or anything, that my back would crack and my neck could crack that much.
Did you get
like
the Ohio State treatment? I might have said that 3 times. Did you get the Ohio State treatment of massaging?
Yeah, I did. It was a back dark room. She had a manly voice, but I think she was still one.
What about the Deshaun Watson? What about that one? Did you get that?
No, I didn't have to go full Deshaun Watson. It was actually no.
Wow.
It was pretty nice,
What's his name?
Yeah. Oh my God.
It just seems like that's part of the
friend.
Yeah, the 1%
Apparently
that way.
That's how you stay
Yeah.
plus in your sport, huh?
Well, it's funny because Justin Fields went to Ohio State, so I can imagine. I'm wondering if he got some freebies when he was up there.
I mean, good thing I'm in the bottom 1% of earners in America, so I think maybe. But no, it was a good appointment.
I want to see
I've had some shoulder issues.
The pictures were pretty gnarly of your body, the bruising.
Oh yeah, it's healing. So like on top of the adjustment, they did what's called Graston therapy, and so basically they take like a smooth edge metal tool and they just scrape away
Do they put
at your
Bengay on you
tissues.
too?
And
Because my wife
he
does
put
that.
he put like an oil on there so it doesn't like pull. But holy crap, like I was flinching and just like I was like oohing and awing and flinching the entire time, and it hurt like hell. It felt good, even though it hurt. And then afterwards, I was like, oh, that's not that bad. And then I got home and I took my shirt off and I went to the bathroom and I was like, I kind of got scared at first because of how much bruising there was, because I hadn't had it done before. So I was like, I knew that it bruised. I just didn't remember or think that it was going to bruise that much. So finally healing, but yeah, my shoulder's feeling a lot better. So coach is actually pretty happy this week.
Do you ever feel like with those like the chiropractic and like there's like the suction cup thing?
Yeah, the bubble.
Yeah, like the cupping.
Like I feel like they're just getting crazier with how they can torture you more. Like one day it'll be like cutting your leg off, and you're like, oh yeah, this is the perfect way to rehabilitate your body.
And you gotta get this much blood out of your leg.
Yeah, it's like a Saw movie or something.
Don't worry, we'll patch that right back up.
Yeah. Like you're crying, and they're like, shut up. This is helping you.
You're scaring the people in the waiting room are getting scared.
Drink the blood so it retains within your body.
It'd be funny though, get like people like Tom Brady, he's like 80 years old and he's still throwing touchdowns, and he's like, I do this, and he's like never stepped one day to foot in there, and
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
God. That's
well, there's gonna be like, would you like a crocodile massage? It's just like you just let a crocodile like bite down your arm for a massage. It's like stick your hand in there, he'll massage it for you.
Dundee special.
Yeah. God. Oh my God.
That is scary though. Like, how do you pick the right? My thought was like, I want to go to a chiropractor, but how do you pick like the right one? Because I feel like you gotta be fucking skilled in that. I don't care about your certification. You better have experience.
Yeah, I mean, I was thankful that actually the guy that I went to in town, one, he's not expensive for people who don't have insurance or that like aren't covered by their insurance. So it's actually relatively cheap to go to him. But also my boss recommended that I go to him, and then he actually works with the school and doing some like rehab for athletes as well. And he knows like our athletic training staff, and so he's been doing stuff for years, and he's like a sports guy as well. So he kind of specializes, or he does a lot of like athletes adjustments or corrections for a lot of like different treatment issues. So I was like, I feel pretty good about going to this guy since he like definitely works in the athletic realm and not just like always a gen pop or like a gyrokinese or something like that with like older populations. So
that's cool.
But yeah. I mean, it seems like we had like everyone had a pretty solid week today.
I did enjoy. I wanted to add because Coach did have a great. You did have a great Jim Junto, and I don't know if everybody saw it online, but if you go on our social, you can see the Barry White of Coach's smile.
Oh my God.
As he smiles.
Oh God, I remember that video.
And I think that's going to be a recurring theme of not only Jim Junto, but just in general, that smile.
It gets my vote.
Yeah, I think right there, look at that one right there is another smile. Look at that.
Yeah.
I think you're disqualified from voting.
Why? I don't
just
get a
because
vote?
you would vote because you would vote for it, you don't get to vote at all.
Oh, I don't agree with that mindset. G, what's your vote? I think you.
Oh yeah, my vote's for him.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Well, you lose. Sorry, Coach.
I wish I could do the Barry White voice. I wish I had that ability. You know.
Oh, yeah. We should get like.
Is it Barry White or is it?
Yeah,
it's Barry White, right? Or I think it's Barry White.
I don't even know who that is. I just know that.
Well, it's not Barry Manilow. So
Rob Dyrdek did a huge segment with Robin Big, and he was like Barry White for like a day or something on that episode.
Yeah, it is Barry White. Yeah, because he does like I think he does the Shaq theme song, but I don't want to play because we'll get in trouble here. But
demonetized.
He does the like it's always like that sexy music where from like the 70s or 80s where it's like that funky, like it makes a funky sound, and then he's got that like ooh yeah lady.
Marvin,
so it's like that
Marvin Gaye.
It's like old school like porn music pretty much.
Yeah, it's more like that.
But it's
no,
better.
definitely not Marvin Gaye. It's more of like Marvin Gaye is more of like very like loving. Like I feel like I'm almost dirty when I listen to Barry White. Yeah,
that song.
Yeah, you're
Marvin
just
Gaye,
like
you're like
that song is so good though.
Yeah, babies by accident.
Yeah, like Barry White's like
Baby
we're in
Driver.
an orgy, and anyway,
it's like low and slow.
Yeah, that's how I feel when I see your smile, Coach. Is low and slow.
Well, thank you.
And it was.
Don't tell your wife that.
I was thinking about orgies.
Yeah. I think hopefully your wife has nothing to worry about here. But
you never know.
Well, I'm gonna swing this away from Barry White because we could. I think if
Crocodiles
we.
and
I
Barry
think if we
White,
keep.
baby.
Yeah, I think if we talk about Barry White longer, I think we're going to start getting in trouble here. But so, as another tradition that we have here on Live Junto, for those of us who have listened to the podcast before, we have our Junto origin question. So, like always, it's going to get read in its original context or format with the words and all. I will do my best to keep the old English phrase and words together so you can just see the difference that we've made in 300 and some odd years.
Good luck,
uh,
friendo.
and then we'll kind of break it down. And I'm gonna take the lead. I'm gonna go first on this because when we I think it's kind of by coincidence that I actually found an answer for this Junto origin question. I'll give you guys some time to delay a little bit if you need to think of anybody or anything after that. So the Junto origin question this week reads as: hath any deserving stranger arrived in town since last meeting that you heard of? And what have you heard or observed of his character or merits? And whether think you it lies in the power of the Junto to oblige him or encourage him as he deserves? So we're with this, what we're doing is whether it's personal, so in person, or online, or through word of mouth, however it may be, anybody that you've know of or heard of that has done anything that is either respectable or courageous or merits kind of um, acknowledgement in our eyes, something that we support here at the Long Live Junto group, and something that maybe goes along with stuff we've already talked about or things that we might be even talking about in the future. So for mine, my personal one is in the world of hockey, as Goichi and I are much, we dive into pretty much.
Tom
The
Wilson.
Columbus, no. Although I don't know, you could probably make an argument that he's made a good example for kids of maybe what not to do. But the Columbus Blue Jackets have agreed in part with John Tortorella to separate a mutual parting of coach and team. However, I think that it was met with a little bit of kind of back and forth, as he's kind of one of those coaches where he's very much on the edge like the entire time. It seems like stuff. It almost doesn't seem like things make him happy ever. Um, and it obviously hasn't had the success, but almost like a Bill Belichick kind of part where he just kind of always looks pissed, and he just like, it's like they could have won 5-0 and he'll bitch about some call made in the second period, or be like, yeah, we didn't do this well though, we really sucked at this. So anyway, there's mixed feelings when he mutually parted ways with the team. And I feel like those guys, you don't really get to know those individuals on a personal level from like our side as fans. And some people came out and spoke about him. I believe it was parents of a former prospect or current prospect with the team, and they basically said, they met John after their son got drafted or signed one of the ways, and I believe maybe it was just the mom, but he basically took them out to dinner, and they were having this dinner together. And he was a really nice, respectable guy, and just very pleasant to talk to. But there was a woman outside that was homeless, and she had a dog with her. And basically, what I think they had like leftover food, and John basically said, "Yeah, I want to take like these leftovers." And then he also paid for like another meal for the woman and for the dog, and then basically had like these like meat trimmings and stuff to like be able to give to the dog to feed, but then also gave her food as well, and then like also paid for other stuff for like her and the dog to have. And then also I believe he might have given her some money as well, if I remember correctly, or it was just that he had bought her some meals and stuff for this woman to help her survive. And it was just one of those things that's like, how many times do we see people go out of their way? It didn't make news when it happened. This woman was just showing her support and her appreciation to this guy after he was done coaching. And I think that just that overall attitude of kind of being genuine and being nice to people around us. He didn't know her. He doesn't know her situation, but he went out of his way to he was in a position to help others and kind of be generous with that and going to go out of his way to do so for that person in a time of their need as well. So I think that's something that the four of us can definitely get behind in, whether it doesn't need to ever be monetary. You lend someone your time, you lend someone your ear, offer advice, whatever it is, like you're doing something that, for someone that you care for, whether they, think they deserve it or not. And I think that's something the four of us definitely can get behind and can definitely be a part of. So, John Tortorella gets um, my Junto origin question answer for this week.
That's a good
And then with that,
little story.
I'm going to. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Hopefully nobody's crying, because I don't want to call on someone and have them cry. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go with beef next because I know for a fact that you had one since you said that in the pre-meeting.
All right. I think for me, I was kind of juggling between two because I was going from um, a personal situation, but also at beginning of the pandemic, and I guess this isn't this week, but so I'm gonna refer back to John Krasinski's Good News. He was doing
Love
like
that.
those guys,
Yeah.
and he was, and the reason why I highlight that is one they're not obviously not doing it anymore. But what I thought was cool was, especially even now, it seems like the media is extremely negative. So I feel like we need that more than ever now. So if Junto, as a group, Long Live Junto, was wanting to embrace and really say keep going, is I would love to see more of that. I would love to see, even if it wasn't John Krasinski, but it's just a show. Like I watch we have on our Instagram we follow. I think it's like the Good News movement or whatever, and that they've been around long before John Krasinski did his. But if anybody at home didn't know, but John Krasinski at the beginning of the pandemic was just doing highlights of acts of kindness, and it was people that weren't famous, and so it was like what things that go untold or most of the time are not highlighted, and a lot of the times because things are untold and not highlighted, I feel like our society is incentivizing not to do not to do those things, but they're not making it a big deal as they should be. Is where doing good thing. I think everybody should do what's in their heart, but when you highlight that, it I think you're gonna promote it more, and if you promote it more, you're gonna see a lot more people do that. So I thought that was I thought like it's short and sweet on this one, but when I watched that, I felt like I was like, oh man, it's really cool. It's cool that he's doing it, and I think everybody loves Jim from The Office, so it even kind of plays into that. But I think we need that more than ever in these days. I love I'm saying him again, but the Good News movement. I think that's the name on Instagram. If I'm not butchering it, but they'll find these acts of kindness and post it on Instagram, and it's a post, and it's like you're feeding through all this negativity or these people ragging, and in the comment section there's so much negativity going around, and when you get those moments of you're reading a story that you're like, man, there's more to this than just this negative ball of energy of politics and pretty much recycling the same negative stuff. Like I felt like that Good News. Like I don't know about you guys, when I read it, it's like there's sometimes where it kind of gets me out of my own element. So I really appreciated when John Krasinski did that, and I think if Long Live Junto gets support anything, it's really more of that in our society. More about not just like it's good news, but positivity, like and how and there's a lot of it. I think like the Zac Efron. Hopefully nobody had this, but that Zac Efron show on Netflix, Down to Earth, highlights a lot
Really
of that
good.
stuff. Yeah,
Really
and
good.
it's
Shockingly good.
and I think we need
Haven't
that more
seen
than
it.
ever.
It's
So.
good.
Yeah.
I think there's a big meaning behind that too. Is like we have the resources now and the platforms to like if there's something we don't like the news, right? The news is only spitting out bad stuff, so we're going to take it in our own hands and do our own news channel and put out good stuff. And it's like it's also like the record labels. It's like they really drove the artists. They had like the direction that the influence. Like the artists really didn't have the creativity and freedom that they wanted, within record labels. So now people are taking the ownership and not signing on with big record labels and doing everything themselves. And I say, all more power to you if you have the hustle, the desire, and the right people and resources in place to make it happen. I mean, anything's possible. You just gotta work hard at it. And I've seen like, there's Macklemore.
Yeah, yeah.
You should
There's
you should watch or listen to
Hobson,
you should listen to Tom McDonald. He's totally
Tom McDonald.
Tom McDonald. He's
Tom McDonald.
totally no label, just all him and his girlfriend. Like his girlfriend shoots his music videos for him.
See,
And
that's what I'm
she's like
talking about.
she is an artist. Like she is really good with those music videos.
See, and that's what
And
I
his
like
music
too.
is really good.
Yeah, and it's getting people to think outside the box. It's exposing people more to their creativity side. Because, being raised without the internet and all that stuff back in the day, I mean, people thought art was like a dying, trade. Like, artists don't make money. They make money after they die, right? But nowadays, it's like you can be an artist in so many different ways and make a ton of money.
Did you see that guy that made like he put like I think it was like a bunch of gifts or something together or you know what I'm talking about? Like,
well,
it's
there's
like,
a lot of those things like that.
This guy sold his thing for like the number's wrong, but I'll just say a number. It was like 300 million or
It
something.
wasn't NTF, was it?
It was just this big image that had like I think it was a big digital image, and it was like if you look at it, it has like a ton of little images into it.
Yeah.
And do you guys know what I'm talking about? Or
No.
I don't know, but that could be another segment for us. Is NFT? Is it NFTs or
NFTs?
NFTs.
'Cause,
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you would
NFTs.
love it.
Because we
need to talk about that on a separate one. That needs to be a whole segment.
Yeah, just really touching on it. Like, there's a guy that that meme of like the girl like kind of looking evilly at the camera while like there's a house burning in the back.
The little girl.
Yeah. So like that guy's dad has that NFT and they sold it for like $450,000 or something, and like they donated a bunch of money. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, is this just ownership to? Memes?
Yeah, ownership to the meme.
Oh, that's pretty.
That's
good.
fucking
of
nuts.
the original photo. Yeah.
It's trippy, man.
I know. So if we try to just make
Yeah.
a market of
Yeah.
making memes, we probably
Yeah, like the
There's-
art.
I don't know.
successful.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different
Yeah,
predictions of like how, like what NFTs are or why they exist, and I don't know. Some people are their theory is money laundering, which I find interesting.
Yeah. Coach is in
like how they buy
The
it, or
Matrix.
like the
Yeah. So like, let's say I was trying to launder money, right? And I had to utilize you to do that, or I had to pay, like, give you money somehow. I would make an NFT and then sell it for a ridiculous amount of money, like $1 million, right?
But
And
it's
then
really drugs involved.
it's like drug money. It's like
Yeah.
dirty money, you know?
But they say NFT.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, he just spent all this money on this like great artwork, but it's digital art. You're only owning the code itself.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's like Breaking Bad.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's our car wash.
Yeah, there
That's
you
super
go.
weird.
I
Yeah,
don't know
we're good.
what's going on.
Am I
with
too-
Yeah,
Coach.
yeah, he was
Am I too much for the camera to handle?
a little bit. Yeah,
You turned into
I don't
an
know how to.
NFT,
I don't know
bro.
how to like. Yeah, he turned into an NFT. Yeah, I don't know how to fix
Picasso style.
OBS Ninja, but it's back now and
Oh, there
we're
we go.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
beautiful.
that was
I
your. Just
I
can't
bought my
handle
own
it, Coach.
NFT, so
Yeah, So I'd say like just good news and what you said about Macklemore, because the song "Other Side" was the one
Yeah.
song you told me about, and I remember when I first heard that song. But the funny part about Macklemore is I feel like his recent album went back into more. He started rapping about that stuff again. Like he had a lot of songs that were, because he says in the other side he's like, follow the formula: sex, drugs, and something else sell. And we rappers are incentivized to follow that formula. And then he ended up doing that after 2 albums, and I was like, that kind of like he talked about other stuff, like how eating it can be seen as a drug too, like how you eat like compulsive eating in his album. Because I follow him a lot because of that, because I like sometimes he like his first 2 albums had a lot of like they were like not normal comparatively to anything else I'd heard. I feel like they were unique on their own. So, but like but going back on a positive note, like having stuff like that where like Kid Cudi did that with rapping with your mind and like depression and stuff like that, and making it where you could talk about where things are like coherently bad, but you can talk about it in a light where it's like, okay, we're normalizing it so people don't feel compelled to like compress the negative feelings, you know? So if you're depressed, it's like that's okay.
I feel like Amy Winehouse did that too.
Yeah, that's another one that's like she slowly has become like a legend after her death. She's like a Kurt Cobain in a way, like the way she died. And Kurt Cobain's another one. Like he talks about his mind and all that stuff. And so, but yeah, I felt like the good news thing. I wish I commend the Instagram page, and I commend John Krasinski for doing that. So
It's a good one.
well, let's go directly to your right there, Beef, and let's hit up Goichi.
Alrighty. So for me, I just want to show a quick video. I won't show like anything other than this right here.
Let me see if I can get that. Yeah.
Okay.
See if I can get.
It doesn't turn that way.
Oh, it doesn't. Oh,
No,
okay.
you just have to show.
Well,
it.
I lost it.
Oh, okay.
Just what is it?
It's that video.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. See
So
if we can get it.
there's a video there, and I'll give you a play-by-play. It's pretty much an old lady trying to get to her car, and for whatever reason, the way she's parked, there's like a good probably
yeah.
6 to 10 feet
Oh.
away from her, and there's water level up to her door panel almost. And so what these guys did, these guys were like unloading a truck, and they let down their like flatbed, if that's what you call it, in order for her to walk across. But then on top of that, while this guy's working, he's like helping her on there as well. And I just like it's like one of those typical sayings where like not all heroes wear capes. Like these guys were not
Mhm.
only doing their job, like trying to make a living, but they went out of their way to take care of this old lady, you know. And I just think like I know you're supposed to, like it's a known thing, like you always take care of your elders, and even if they're not related to you or whatever, like you be kind, you know. And I think that should be
Mhm.
universal for like anyone. It doesn't matter how old you are, but definitely, you know, our elder group of people, like to help them out and give it a helping hand like that, like that's to me like that's super awesome. And um yeah, I just love seeing stuff like that all the time. Like, you know, what would you do with John Kionis? That show is really cool, and I just think like people who do stuff even now, especially nowadays, they don't do it for like like the stream, the vlog, the YouTube to get, you know, likes or whatever. They just do it because they're good people and they're doing it out of the kindness of their hearts. To me, that's what it represents to me, is just like good, honest people on this earth. You know, it has nothing to do with
Mhm.
politics, race, anything like that. It's just like just be a good person, man. That's it. So that's what I
That's
love,
awesome, man.
and I try to live like that. You know, I'm not perfect either, but like I said with the door thing, like or I old people probably think I'm fucking crazy, but I mean, if I see an old person walking with like I saw one older gentleman in my dad's neighborhood, and he was carrying, I swear, he had like 4 filled grocery bags on each hand, and he was walking pretty far, and I've seen him in my dad's neighborhood often. So I pulled up to him and asked him if he needed a ride, and he seemed kind of scared, but he said no, thank you, which was nice. And I said, okay, no problem, sir. I said I was just, you know, offering you, you know, some help if you needed any. And he said, no, I'm good. So, but like, yeah, I feel like, you know, those are the times like you just gotta offer a helping hand, and the worst thing they could do is tell you to fuck off. I mean, whatever.
Right.
We don't do
Yeah, no,
we don't do two
that's totally
trips.
understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good deeds, man. Good deeds, and not looking for credit. Just trying to do it out of the goodness of your own heart. And you know what? It's funny when you talk about that story with uh, the dog and Tortorelli, and like how, you know, how he took care of that homeless lady. And it brings me back to when my wife and I were in San Francisco, and we were just visiting for a couple days. Went to this restaurant, and it was like a deep dish pizza restaurant. Not good at all. Overpriced, and
Mhm.
it was like whatever pizza. We still had half of it left over. Well, my wife and I thought we were going to go to back to the hotel, hang out, and like we'll eat that later, right? And as soon as we started walking, I saw a dude about my age, and he had a dog in his lap, and they just, man, they just looked like really like when you see someone down in their luck, that's what this guy looked like. He wasn't even like begging for money. He was just sitting at a traffic light, just like just down on his luck. And I gave him some money, and I gave him our pizza, and I'll never forget, like, my wife was kind of upset with me, but I said, you know what? Like, I told her, babe, if that was me, I hope someone would do that for me too. Like, and
Mhm.
he said thank you. And like for someone, it's my leftovers, you know. Like, for someone to still appreciate something like that, like, I'll give money to that person all day long. A thank you goes a
Yeah.
long ways for me. So, or a wave or whatever, you know. But yeah, like I always try and say to myself, like, that could be me. I don't know. You know, you never know. That could be me one day. So I hope there is someone like me that would offer a helping hand one day. So I will warn people, if you ever visit downtown LA, uh, most likely the bums there will not take drinks from you, whether it's water, Gatorade, or Arizona drinks. I've had my brother and I worked in downtown LA, and we've offered water and drinks to the homeless out there, and a lot of them have told us to fuck off. So
They want
just
money.
just forewarning you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just want money. So just forewarning you in downtown LA.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Skid Row.
So, Nightmare Fuel, how about you? What you got?
Can you repeat the question again? It's just someone doing something nice. Or
Yeah,
cool,
so
like,
like someone doing something either nice someone doing something to go out of their way.
Mhm.
Something that maybe something along the lines that like we as like the Long Live Junto group
Yeah.
support. They do some sort of like remarkable
Okay.
act or
All right. Cool.
stuff for someone.
I kind of have something in that vein. In
Okay,
the
so
I
yeah.
don't know if I've brought it up on the podcast before, but there's a YouTube channel called Kentucky Ballistics. It's a gun channel,
Hmm.
and the guy that runs it, his name is Scott, and his his gimmick is he fires really big really big bullets, and
Hmm.
he fires really high powered rifle rounds, and he was doing a video where he was buying these old he bought these old armor piercing rounds that are like decommissioned, and like you can't
Hmm.
find them anywhere. They're the only ones you can find are ones that have already been made, and he was doing a video shooting out of it was a 50 caliber bullet, by the way. It's a big round, and he fired a couple and they were totally fine, and he put one in and apparently it was a defective round, and it was just like
Hmm.
too much powder in the casing, and it blew up his gun and sent shrapnel like into his
No
chest and
way.
like
Holy
lacerated
crap.
yeah, it lacerated his jugular vein.
Jesus.
The cap hit him in the face. He was wearing eye protection. If he wasn't wearing eye protection, the cap would have like lodged in his skull. But to make a long story short, he the only reason he survived was because his dad was there, and they got him to the hospital, and they basically saved his life. But he's been unable to make videos the past like week or two, and all the other gun channels have been making videos to give to him to watch on his channel, and
Whoa,
basically
that gave me chills.
yeah, to like monetize
that's
so
cool.
he can make money and post
Oh my
videos
Mhm.
while he's recovering from like
Damn.
this
I got
like
so
yeah,
much
like
chills right there.
there've been I think two videos now where really big gun channels have like imitated this guy. Like
Oh,
he's
that's cool.
he's got like a he's Scott has a really he's got a really distinct like style and comedic timing and that kind of stuff, and they kind of
Hmm.
imitations the sincerest form of flattery kind of thing. So they kind of like imitate him and kind of try and make it seem like, oh, the Kentucky Ballistics is still making videos, but it's really cool. And
Is
like,
he gonna live or?
yeah, he's gonna live. He's totally fine.
Dude, that's crazy.
He's got a scar like that goes from like his neck down to his sternum, and like he said the only reason that he survived was because he put his like thumb in the wound and like closed off the jugular vein.
During all that, he did that?
Yeah,
Jesus
it was
Christ.
it's a crazy video. I'll send it to you guys. But yeah, he has like he's got like a black eye. He's gonna be fine apparently, but he's got a scar that like goes from his neck to his sternum, and so they had to cut op or separate his sternum to be able to get into his lung because he actually had shrapnel in his lung too. So
Damn.
actually his sternum is healing, so he can't like shoot a gun because the
Mhm.
shockwave will mess with his healing. So that's why other gun channels are making videos for him, and he's posting them on his channel.
I find that interesting though, like with his expertise and knowledge of like handling guns, ammunition.
Mhm.
I mean,
There's
isn't
no
that
way.
like play it by the book? Isn't that just common knowledge that you should like not be messing around with like retired ammunition? Like
Yeah,
that?
it is.
Especially discontinued.
Yeah, usually, but like he's done those rounds before, and there was like it was one of those things where it's like
But
there's
he
no
can't be
way.
the first person that's experienced something like this. Like, shouldn't
Yeah.
that be known?
Yeah, I haven't done a lot of research on it.
Man, that's
But
crazy
yeah,
to me,
it's-
man.
It's like the force, like so it's a single shot. The rifle he was shooting was a
Uh-huh.
single shot. So if you can imagine just the barrel,
Yeah.
and then it breaks open, kind of like a break action shotgun, and you just load one round in, and then
Okay.
you screw a cap on, and and the only way that the gun will function is if the cap is screwed on to the threads perfectly tight, and so he closed it, and the force actually blew open the gun and sheared the threads off of the gun, and the cap sheared the threads off the gun and sent it at his face.
So wait, he didn't even fire the rifle.
He did fire. No, he did fire
Oh,
the
he
rifle.
did fire it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was.
I thought when he put the cap on, it blew up.
No, it was when he fired
Interesting.
it.
You know what? Sometimes
That's
I
gotta
think that we
hurt.
still do things that we
Yeah.
know that we shouldn't do.
Yeah, just
Like I
Okay,
still
Mom.
know that hey, I'm just saying I still know that Del Taco at 2:30 in the
Joe
morning.
Wisdom?
Wait, I gotta
Yeah.
hear this one. Del Taco at 2:30 in the morning. Okay.
I know that Del Taco at 2:30 in the morning doesn't usually end with good results, but I still do it anyway every once in a while. Okay, so
Oh my
That's
god.
that's a Jim Junto part of your segment, right?
yeah, and you know what? I think that actually bleeds right into our our first of two segments.
Nice.
We're
Nice,
gonna
buddy.
we're gonna talk about some modern dating.
Ooh.
As a first hint, uh, Del Taco at 2:30 in the morning talking about the results of that, probably not good for dating. I don't care if it's now or in the 70s, it doesn't work. It's not good. You'll find yourself single as a Pringle.
Or if you do find a woman that's into that type of stuff, keep her. You better put a ring
Run.
on it.
You need no. I think you need to.
Well, we have two
No, you better
different.
run.
We have two
Run the
different
hell
answers
away.
there.
Did you say single
well,
as
you know
a
what?
Pringle?
Tomato.
Yeah, I did.
Single as a Pringle.
Pringles come in
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
lot.
and Pringles are layered. Like,
But you ever
perfectly.
think about it? Most people just eat a
Yeah.
single Pringle by itself.
What?
Unless
I'm
unless you
like
get
a,
Yeah, they're called
stack-
psychos.
I'm a stack guy.
I'm a duck lips
I like-
person.
I'll eat at least like 3 or 4, and I shove them
I like
because I love the
savoring them.
crunch,
Oh, the crunch is good. But
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
savoring them.
especially the sour
I like-
cream.
I like
I
the
like letting
salt. You get all that salt flavor too from
Yeah.
like 5 of them.
I
Dear
don't
God,
like
you get a
eating
big
them
old
when I'm
swig of
swimming
some
though,
drink.
or at the beach, because you get them all soggy and wet. Like they
Oh,
just
yeah.
lose that magic in them.
I
you
like
know?
like getting them, like just putting them in your mouth and just letting your saliva like dissolve them.
So you don't even
It's like-
chew
Was it
down.
like a list?
Yeah.
Isn't it like church?
Was it like a
with the oats?
Listerine
Yeah,
patch?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like you let it like dissolve.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The body of Christ.
yeah, the body. The
Oh
power
my
of Christ.
God.
Oh,
compels
shit.
If you
Jeez.
don't pop,
Yeah.
you're going to hell.
Yeah.
Uh,
So with modern dating, this is interesting. I'm very curious how this is going to go because we have quite a few ends of the spectrum here for ourselves. Two of us shouldn't be dating anymore, and I don't being that you're both married. But you guys. I mean, it's not like you guys have been married for 30 years, so you guys have at least been dating engaged within like this. I guess what would be like a timeline or like a time period that would be considered modern. So like within the last 5 to 10 years would still like within 10 years would be that we've excuse me we've all we've been dating at that point. I know G, you've been with your wife, have been together for quite some time, correct?
mhm. 13 years. Yes.
And then 13 years. Okay, I know. Well, Beef is now married. So sorry, ladies.
Off.
But
Why'd you say that when you only talk
we
about
have
beef?
known.
People love the teddy bear feel
Well-
too. Okay.
Oh, trust me. Spencer is well aware that people like the teddy bear. That girls like the teddy bear.
I don't. Well, apparently enough because I'm about as solo as the number one. So
You gotta pick like a genre. Like I
but,
go for the panda bear, and that always works with the ladies.
uh-huh.
A bear.
I've tried to go as
A
like
grizzly bear.
Yeah.
try to
In the bear.
yeah for like a well
Make
I
that
went
sound.
for fish out of water, and I just started flopping around on the floor, and that didn't seem to do very much. So, but people thought I was having like a medical emergency or something,
A
but
seizure.
it's like no, I was just trying to peacock in front
Did
of
he
the
have
girls at the bar.
Tel Taco
So
at 2:30 a.m.?
yeah,
Oh my
it's a
god.
dead giveaway.
Oh,
Yeah, it's involuntary farting. That's a dead giveaway. He had no
Like
taco. So.
squeezing the cheeks.
God.
But
Jesus, take the wheel.
so I think we've like briefly talked about this too. So like nowadays, like there is too many. If you like go on the Apple App Store or Google, if you're odd and you have an Android phone,
Yeah, those
but if you go onto those
Whatever.
Play stores and
Wish
Like
list.
Galaxy
you
phone.
look
Wish
up like wish list. Yeah, Operation Help Nightmare get an iPhone.
Yeah.
Freaking rebel.
It is on our. If you guys go to our Twitch page on the
Hey,
Dream.
my 30th birthday is coming up.
Please
You
help
wanna
us,
get me an
guys.
iPhone
Yeah.
for my
Yeah,
We
birthday?
can't watch videos normally with this guy.
We need iMessage.
Make a man's year, okay? Uh, there are just countless like dating apps. Like there's so many. Like there's the big ones I think that everyone probably hears from or knows. There's like Tinder, Hinge, Bumble. I mean I don't know if
Coffee Meets
eHarmony is like
Bagels.
still a thing. Yeah, coffee meets bagels. I mean, both those sound good now, but um,
Or
there's like
just
there was
hungry.
like eHarmony. There's like Christian Mingle.
Yeah.
You see like ads on TV for all this shit.
Amish.
So like,
Farmers only.
yeah, farmers only. Yeah,
Yeah,
Amish,
that's the best.
gone wild or something. I don't know. Um, but they there
Oh my god.
there's all these things online. So it's like I think the act of dating has become very much like sit at home and try and look at pictures and then try to get to know somebody more so on the phone rather than like, I mean, when all of our parents were, dating or, engaged, whatever, it's like there was a thing like you met people at bars, you met people through friends, you met people through family, you met through, like weird things happened, just life happened. That's how you met people. And now it's, I mean, it still happens that way, but um, definitely not like as it used to be. Um, so I don't know. Let's hear everybody's like kind of like first takes on like modern dating. So just like what like first thing that comes to your mind for modern dating. So let's spit it out. Let me go with let me go. Let's go Goichi for the first one here. First take
Okay.
on modern
Oh,
dating.
the one with the longest relationship.
So for me,
Yeah,
I never got to experience like the online. Well, like there was AIM, right? Man, I'm dating myself here, but there was
Wow.
like AIM where you could
yeah.
flirt with girls, meet them at parties and
You
stuff
got
like that.
mail.
Yeah, you got mail. But for me, it was I never really used dating apps. It was always like go to a party or meet through friends. In fact, I met my wife through a mutual friend during college, and I went on a blind double date with them, and that's how I met my wife. Um, so for me, I mean, modern dating to each his own, and I think the accessibility, the able like to be able to kind of shop around and see what's out there in the sea. It's kind of like fishing on a charter boat versus like fishing by yourself on a shoreline. Like you kind of
Mm,
have to like go there physically, engage, and like try and find the right spot to catch the right fish. When you're on a charter boat, it's like you have all these fish. Usually, you have all these fish that you could just reel in, and then you pick the cream of the crop of what you want to leave home with, and um, I still think like the dating, like meeting through friends or going through like events is key to me because I mean yeah, you can get matched up based on like whatever you fill out in your bio, but there can be alternative motives or like maybe there's an image you're trying to paint of yourself on that profile versus like just being you. And that's really what I loved about like meeting people face to face and dating people like in person versus like talking to them online first is like I went in there knowing nothing about them and just like it was like discovery mode as soon as you like engage with them, and I love that piece versus like let
hmm
me Google them and see like what they've been doing, let me look at their pictures, their history of who they dated. And I just think there's some like genuine like classic authenticity to that where you get to date someone and you really it's like a fun adventure. You really don't know what you're getting into and you're testing out the waters. And it's definitely a great thing when you find that right one for you, like the ride or die man, woman, or whatever you choose. It's cool when you find that one partner in your life where it's a best friend, but it's also like the love of your life at the same time. And when you can have both of those things, man, it's definitely a sweet deal. So yeah, for me, I think even for modern dating, I suggest like my suggestion is like you just keep doing you, and like you could try dating apps, but if you continue to do hobbies and activities that you enjoy and you meet someone that enjoys the same things as you, I mean that right there is already chemistry. And I think that's the key to like finding like a true love person is like you meet someone in a segment that you love, right? Or people have met each
hmm
other at like concerts because their friends drag them along, right? And the irony in those type of love stories is like normally it's the two people who didn't want to be at that fucking concert but their friends forced them, and then they became I knew
Then they stop hanging out with their friends because like they didn't want to go to the
no,
concert.
actually, they became friends. Like the whole group. So this happened actually to one of my friend's older sisters. She was like our babysitter growing up, and then she met like her husband at like an Incubus concert. So I thought that
hmm
was cool, and like their friends
That's
became
it's a
friends.
pretty
And
sick concert to go to.
I know,
Incubus,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
is.
she had good
Yeah.
taste in music, but yeah, it was cool. Like she was always like just a solo girl, like a long time for what I remember as a kid, and yeah, she met like the love of her life at an Incubus concert, and it just started with that chemistry of them both loving that performer, and then yeah, everything worked from there. But that's what I'm saying. Like You know, if you have hobbies like whatever, pottery, woodworking, bowling,
Mm-hmm.
you
Hey,
never know. So that's what I suggest is like I think it's still really cool to like maybe not even look into the person, just go in with an open mind, and you don't have to be a detective. I think that's the fun of it. It's just like talk to
Mm-hmm.
the person face to face and enjoy your time. And I'm big on like manners, of course. It's like it's always about being a gentleman first, right? So you gotta take care of the ladies, in my opinion. Like not that ladies need help, right? But they deserve that help. Like they deserve to be treated like a queen, you know. So. Yeah.
Okay.
goddamn right.
Let's go. Not to pick on anybody here, but let's go to we're gonna go other side of the spectrum here, and I'm gonna go with nightmare.
Oh, I don't do it, so you can just skip me. No, modern
It's
dating.
like
No,
it
yeah,
blacks out. The screen like
yeah.
blacks
It's
out.
like
We'll be right back.
Nightmare's left the chat.
yeah. F in the chat. No, modern
Yeah.
dating. Like when it comes to apps, I think they definitely they're just pros and cons for
Hmm.
each gender. Like for the women, it's definitely safer. I think it's safer than like getting to, like just hit on at a bar and
Mm.
and like they can curate who they're talking to, and they could just say, oh, I think that this person's worth talking to, but and then there's the cons where it's fake. Like there's you can edit photos, you can misrepresent yourself, you can say you're this when you're not, and that's where catfishing definitely comes into play.
Hmm.
Do you think first impressions for like online or app dating comes from just viewing the profile picture first versus anything else?
Man, I think so.
Because to me, that's like judging a cereal box before you get to open it and like see
Yeah.
what the prize is. You know?
Well, I think that's gotta. I mean, I feel like that's it. Maybe I'm biased because I've never gotten a match on any of those sites. So
I tried not to laugh, and then he
laugh.
laughed. I was like,
Yeah. No, laugh, please. I say that.
What are you doing to your profile? Okay, I think you need some help. We need to help you out.
Maybe I've had many offers to help
maybe
me, and
trying to
I've
do
taken,
your hair.
Yeah, maybe.
Like we talked
We're gonna have a photo
about,
shoot for
yeah.
Oh,
sure.
good God.
Nice collared
Mhm.
shirt
Yeah.
on,
Oh man.
a tuxedo.
I have pictures.
donate some
I have
products
pictures
to
of
you.
me in a collared shirt, in a suit, on my profiles. If don't
Like,
get anything.
with the lighting right.
With the lighting right. Yeah.
Well,
You can't look like you're trying too hard. Like then you just comes off even worse.
Like
This
tuxedo.
guy had a photo shoot for his Bumble profile. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Like a
I
school
think-
picture. We'll get it done
Yeah,
right.
I'd like to.
I
Yeah.
feel like I saw stuff
Your
like
foot's
that
like
though.
on a log.
Yeah.
I feel like I did see stuff like that though, where people like they did dress it up more,
Yeah.
Because
I feel like it's more
I actually
acceptable.
don't agree with you at all because you said you don't want a photo shoot, but like I want like as a person gets older, because I feel like modern dating is when you're a kid, it's like okay, whatever. Like when you're a teenager, you're in your 20s, it's like whatever. It's like
Yeah.
there's like they're learning about themselves, and I mean even we're still learning about ourselves as we're getting older. But at a certain point as an adult, especially if you're driven in your career, you don't have a lot of time. You have a lot of obligations.
Mhm.
You have to make you have to go. Like I think that's where the app dating could be useful. Is like okay, hey, this person's into this, and this, and I'm serious business. Like I need what I mean. I'm trying to find a
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of time to waste anymore. But I disagree. Like I feel like if someone it looks really good in their profile. Like they spent a lot of time on it, and they care about their image and
Wanna
their
add to that
representation.
effort.
I feel like
Yeah.
it really matters. Like even on a guy side,
Mhm.
like when a guy looks good, I'm like, oh man, you know what I mean? Like he's looking tough. Because there are times where I would look at other guys' profiles where I'd be like, that's exactly why I wasn't doing as well match wise, because like I would look at other guys and it's like because it's a lot of times like it's kind of like fishing. You're trying to like bring in this bait. I mean, you're a decent person. We know like at the end of the day, you know what you're about, and you'll know if you'll match on communication and all that. But like I think presentation's a huge thing. It's like an interview, right? When you get an
Oh
interview.
my god!
Yeah.
I literally just had that.
Oh yeah, you thought that? Yeah.
90-day
yeah.
probation. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Once you land the girl that you want to date moving forward,
Yeah, that's exactly.
you
That's a
just
good,
have to survive that initial
yeah.
like 90-day period,
The honeymoon.
and then you don't have to try as hard
Yeah.
anymore, right?
Oh,
Like,
is
don't
that
set
how
the
it-
bar
is that how
so
it goes?
high. You know, if you set it like right here, then you can still go up, you could go down, like it balances
Yeah.
out. But like
Should I
it's so
You're
true
locked
what he's
in.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like put in the effort in the beginning, but then once you land the one you got, I mean, after that you're like, I don't have to sell to anyone anymore. Like, I got the one. And if you love me for who I am now, then we're good, right? But I'll say this too, because it's funny you brought that up. When I was dating my wife now, when I was initially dating her, I was still kind of like on edge, like if she was still really into me or not. And I'll never forget, like I was hanging out with her cousin and my roommate at the time, my good friend. He was dating her cousin at the time. That's how I got introduced to her, my wife. So we were all at her cousin's house hanging out, and I guess my wife or my girlfriend at the time, she called her cousin and she found out like I was at her house, and she's like, "Oh, he's there," and she's like, "Yeah, do you want to come over and like hang out?" And she's like, "Okay, hold on," and then she took forever to come, and we found out that she was putting on makeup, like she was getting all, and
She's
her
getting
cousin told
dolled
me,
up.
yeah, she's like, she's getting dolled up for you. I'm like, damn, okay, and that
That is
that
a big,
makes you feel good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it means
so
you're worth
see,
it.
so
You're
that
worth
kind-
it. Yeah.
It goes both ways, man.
Watch, he's gonna come in with a tuxedo next time.
I have pictures on profiles in a suit, tie, no,
You start hearing
Christmas party.
Barry White in the back.
Oh yeah,
the
I
background.
definitely
What
have.
happened to Coach?
Barry-
Coach to the
Coach just,
screen.
Coach just did.
You don't want to go next.
Where'd you go?
Oh my god, dude, that's funny.
Oh my
Was the
god.
internet connection dropped on his end or ours?
Yeah, I think his internet dropped.
Yeah, because he was having. Do you want to go to?
Okay, so
Huh?
Do you guys want to go to? Let's go to. We'll fix it on the stream, or
What do you mean?
let's pause the stream and go to the overlay and let's
okay,
fix this.
yeah,
All right.
BRB.
All right.
Okay, we'll be
Okay,
right
we'll
back,
be
guys.
right back. Stream. We got technical difficulties.
All right, we're back.
All right, guys, welcome back. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Definitely one of the downsides to us not all being in person. So where if something happens for one of us, then the other ones are kind of left hanging. But so we're going to pick up where we left off here. We're picking up with Nightmare Fuel and his hot take on modern dating.
Oh yeah, so just there's ups and downs. People get to choose, curate what they see, but it's very skin deep. Like I don't know how many people
Mhm.
actually look, like
Yeah.
scroll down and see like what you've typed out, like how clever you've been. Like we were talking about showing your value. I thought you guys were talking about that, and I was like, well, maybe I should like take pictures of the sink with no dishes in it, and like I did the dishes, and then like my just like it's a clean
Those
room.
type of
like,
things come up in conversations though.
Yeah.
Like, well, not doing the dishes, but like, you know, what are your hobbies? What do you like
Yeah.
to do? What's your passion?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think my one of my cover pages is me golfing. Like, it's one of my
Mhm.
it's one of my favorite pictures. Like, I think Beef here or Coach took it, and it was like it's a really good picture of me.
Dude,
And
a golf babe. That'd be pretty cool.
yeah, that would be really cool. But yeah, so
Because neither of our wives
yeah.
play golf, buddy. So.
yeah, just oh man. But yeah, so and then but in person, it definitely like as a normal human being, I feel like in person it would be it's really ideal. It's that human connection.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, there are psychopaths out there that ruin it for people and
Mhm.
and are really not cool to women, and it makes people jaded and there are crazy women that abuse men too. Like we talked about it before, but yeah, it's all risk and it's risk reward. There's the positives of dating where you can go through, find someone that you're really attracted to,
Mhm.
but again, it's only skin deep, and you can't really find it until you actually meet someone, and then you need to have them reciprocate that, like, oh, I'd like to talk to you too, and then if you don't have
Mhm.
that, then you don't
How
get
do
any
you
matches.
define risk though in that? Besides like the craziness people, because you're not a crazy person like that.
Yeah.
So how do you define risk in dating women? Because my thought in that is
I
there
mean-
is no risk if you have nothing to lose in the first place.
Yeah, I meant risk as coming from the women's standpoint. Like you're meeting a total strange, like some strange dude just came up.
But
to
your
you.
mentality going into dating shouldn't be like that, though. That's what I'm saying.
True.
Like, yeah, that's what's happening in the world, but you're not like that. Nor are you near that category. So
Yeah.
that shouldn't even be a thought in your head. Your thought in your head should be like, this woman wants to go out with me. That's fucking awesome.
That
right?
yeah, I definitely have that mindset. That would be cool. If a
Because you're
woman
already
liked to go
thinking
out
for
with
the
me.
woman before you can even think for yourself and meet her.
Yeah, I guess I'm just I'm so what is it? What's the word? Like not courteous, but like I'm so empathetic. Like I understand the struggle of going out and meeting someone, and like getting that look of like that like something like a predator just walked up to you. Like I've seen that look on someone, and it's like
I think you're kind of overthinking it a little bit.
I definitely do that.
Yeah,
I
'cause
definitely do that.
I don't think a lot of women think. I think that
You're categorizing yourself before she even gets to know you, man.
Yeah, because the whole thing of like especially that like when I had done like online dating, you communicate a good amount before you even get to that.
If you say so, I've never
Yeah.
done it. So
Yeah, but there's a period of like communication before all of that. You know, you're going back and forth.
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
build
gonna have
you
to-
build up
yeah.
that
And-
relationship.
And
I'll
a
take
lot
your
of
word
times
for it.
you don't. It's not like you're meeting in the back of a like an IHOP or something. You're meeting.
You don't?
You're
dude, social
There's
media.
nothing wrong with that.
Social
Those are
media has
called
lied to me
hookers.
so much.
Those are called hookers.
It's the back of
Tell
the-
me that.
back
Tell
of
me
the
those.
Denny's.
Hey, the pancakes taste the same in the back, all right?
But what I got, what
That's
I
Coach's
want to say to
motto.
you, man, is like it's a big ocean out there. It's a big ocean out there, and you can't have that mentality going in because you gotta have the confidence that you're a great guy, which you are, and you're a good catch, right? Which you are. So like you have to just go out there and be like, you know what, you can't flood your mind with those type of thoughts because that's just negative thinking before you bring your positive vibe to that person.
Mm-hmm.
Like think about the woman that could be missing out on someone like you because you're already doubting yourself before you even engage.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I
Let's
I've
go.
gotten all this. Trust me.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
working,
Nigger.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm working on it. Like
We're gonna find you the right
Yeah.
woman. We're going to do it
one day.
Yeah.
one day.
Oh man.
All right, let's go to the Playboy,
Yeah,
I
it's all-
guess.
Yeah. Let's go to
Or,
It'll
Mr.
happen.
Mr. Tinder over there.
Beef. Let's go back to the other married person.
Okay.
And he has experience
I thought
on
he had
dating
one.
apps, so this will be good.
Yeah, so I kind of got a little bit of a taste of it. I definitely am with Goichi where traditional is. I like traditional though as like a thing of the past in a lot of ways. But it's what I was saying is I think it depends on your age. So if you're in your 20s, I think you're young, or if you're let's say you're younger, right? You're teenager or 20s. I feel like you should be kind of going out because it's giving you the ability to kind of read the person a lot better. Like you don't even really know a lot about yourself yet. You know, you're still kind of learning. There's
Oh,
so
we
many
lost
peer
him.
pressure. Oh,
We lost. Yeah. You want to just keep going? Let's see if we can get him
No,
back.
let's cut it out.
Cut out.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, 'cause
We're
I wanna
gonna-
make sure he's.
Yeah, we're gonna get Coach back here in a second.
We'll be back, guys.
1 second.
Coach.
Here he's back. As soon as I click it.
Hey, stop swiping left on
Yeah.
us, okay?
Was that saying it's
I
organized?
think. Oh.
I'm trying.
Yeah, I was
It
gonna
says
say.
organized as a monkey shit fight at the zoo. What's going on here?
Oh man.
But yeah, so what I was saying is that I feel like depending on where you are at what age you're at, or what age you're at in life, it differs. Like I think when you're younger, you should be going out and having a lot of experiences.
Plus, at that stage, you're like just getting out of high school. You're pretty much like redefining
Yeah,
yourself
exactly. Yeah,
in
don't-
like
you don't
college
even-
or whatever.
Yeah, because a lot of what we base ourselves is like parents or whoever's
Yeah.
influential on us.
The
whether
school
your
you
parents
come
are-
from.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
that grab. So, I think when you're younger, yeah, for sure, it should be. I think the online is dangerous for younger kids because it's a very judgmental way of like, oh, I could just swipe to this next person and that person's one swipe away. So
Yeah.
it's a convenience mindset. Whereas when you get older and you've kind of done you've done some physical dating with or you've been in the presence of others and dated them, you kind of realize like the whole like really finding it's not only about just dating, but if your goal is to marry someone or not your goal, but if you want to find that person, you understand it takes work to get to that level, and work is also equivalent to time. So your time is of the essence. And so when I was saying as you get older and you're career driven, I think like I understand why dating apps have become so much more popular is because from a time perspective, you're able to really like, nope, I don't want to waste my time on
That's
this
a good
guy.
point.
I don't want to waste my time on this person, right?
Yeah.
And so you're all about the point, which is also
Or
could also
even-
be a negative thing
And
because
also just really quick, wasting time like going out to a bar, buying drinks.
yeah,
and
exactly.
that,
Like
yeah.
all of that. Well, not just the meeting of them, but like that's not even the most dedicated part of your time. Like meeting a person on one date is one thing. I think that's not even. That's like an ante in a poker game, right? You're just anteing up.
Yeah.
But when you start like going deep into the hand on like Texas Hold'em, and then you lose like that. There's not a good feeling like that, right? And so it's kind of like how I see dating can, especially as you get older. That's time is what you can't get back. It's not like you can win. You can win the time back, and so
true.
so I think it's like it depends on the person. So the other part of this was like what. So I'm 100% traditional. That's how I met my wife. I was lucky. I worked in the same company with her and with G.
Jim and Pam.
Jim and Pam,
Love
yeah.
story. It was awesome to watch.
She wasn't engaged though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
He didn't break up a
Technically,
relationship.
I mean,
Thank
but technically, like
goodness.
every guy in the
Yeah.
office was like trying to talk to her, you know. So
Oh really?
yeah, the
She was-
best man won.
She the hot girl.
Yep.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So one part that says, how would you improve online dating apps? So I felt like this was a great question that G put in here. So actually, I think the worst part of dating apps is that there's lack of communication on them. It's only over text.
Irony.
Yeah, like the whole thing is like if your goal is to live with this person or to be with this person in your life, you're going to wake up, you're going to see this person on the toilet, you're going to see this person showering, you're going to see you see this person angry, you'll see this person cry, you'll
No
see
makeup.
them lose no makeup. The worst of the worst you will see of this person and so for me, like the worst, like anyone can send a text and sound a certain way, right? And you could even say like so I'll go just perception's everything, right? And it's too perception based. Where I think what would be cool is I think one thing that I haven't heard yet is speed dating. I used to think speed dating is kind of I've never been part of speed dating, but I think it's really cool. But it's you can talk to the person for like a minute or 2 minutes, and then you get kind of a gist of like, man, does they seem like based on the first initial reaction, like can I see myself with like not see myself, but do I want to talk to them more? And then what happens is at the end of the round of the whole session, you kind of tally up in your mind like who I liked, and you go and like it depends on the place, but like you'll either put your number in and you'll say I want this person. If you guys matched, then they'll switch the numbers. Or there's a place where you go up to the person, right? And so I think like speed dating is something that has been kind of falling off. I think there should be like a online speed dating kind of thing where like you actually if you're online at the same time as this other person is you like a FaceTime, you like pop up.
It's like a Omegle.
Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
maybe that exists already or
It's a random thing, but yeah.
yeah, it's like
It's like Russian roulette. So like you don't know if you're going to get a kid, a guy, somebody.
Dude jerking off.
Yeah.
Is that
Or
is
dude
that like
playing
for
guitar
dating,
for you.
though?
It's not for dating. It's
No.
literally
It's
people who just are bored out
talk
of
to
their minds,
strangers.
talk to strangers, and you
Oh,
don't.
chat roulette,
you
right?
don't. It's
It's
pretty
like
much
chat
like
roulette.
that, right?
Yeah.
So like I feel like we should have that, but for dating, where so let's say Bumble or Tinder or whatever it is, where you pop up and you're like, oh, I match with this person. You're like, oh, hey, they're online. I want to talk to them. I feel like that should be like the first, conversation. It shouldn't be over text. It should be, hey, let's
What if
have
like
a
that
five.
was the next stage of the app? It's like they don't allow you to text anymore.
Yeah,
It has to be
exactly.
FaceTime
Yeah, that's
only?
exactly what
I
I'm
feel like
talking about.
That'd be
Because
cool.
I feel like it. Because I mean, I think also gets people out of their comfort zones because like a lot of times it's like, oh yeah, that person sounds interesting, and then they text me and then they're like, no, I was feeling a different way, and so this person got hope in.
Well, you don't know
hope
if
in
they're texting you back either. It could be their friend.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, there's a lot that exactly. Yeah, so that even incentivizes like the whole like, oh, am I talking to the right person? Also, you can to your point about
Catfishing.
pictures. Yeah, your pictures. You can
catfishing.
see like, and then it's Andrew in a tuxedo.
I'm
Like,
always in a tuxedo.
Oh, I'm sorry, Nightmare in a tuxedo.
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah.
yeah, like,
But like that's how you know like when someone's on that website is you see a bunch of tuxedo people walking around.
yeah,
It's like, oh,
yeah.
you're on that video dating site, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's how I guess how I would improve it is like encouraging, especially for the younger generation that are they'll oftentimes look at the older generation for what's the next thing to do, and then or I'm sorry like they would be like, oh yeah, well like young kids will first start with Facebook like right for example, and then they'll move on to like a new app right, and they'll give and that's where the new apps rise like TikTok right. TikTok is like heavily children, but and then the adults now like take over, but the first like acceptance of like oh Facebook and YouTube and so you could say that about Tinder and Bumble and whatever the other ones are, but I feel like if I could make one change to that for people, and I think it would help increase the first engagement or help increase the odds of dating that people, is forcing you to actually have to talk to the person off the bat. Because if I'm sitting there talking to you, that's invested time already.
Yeah.
And then whether that increases the odds or not, but at least like think about that. If you talk to a person, you're not texting them, and you talked about that first like date where you're worried about like all these things that like could be in the woman's mind, but you're talking to them, you're gonna sit there and you're gonna be like, okay, hey, after that conversation, I feel like, that person seems like somebody I would like to go on a date with. You know what I mean? And versus where, because it goes back to the whole bar thing, right? The traditional part of it.
Yeah.
You're not physically there, but you at least kind of get this. Hey, like we got more than just a couple words, because. I mean, anybody could sound cool over text, like, it's like...
damn, I can't do that either.
You know what's interesting is like when we were like official, like or in the honeymoon phase, I should say, like we were living in separate homes, right? And we would there would be nights where we text for hours. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So I guess in that way, like you can like that's a good way. Like you can just
I want
text
that.
each other late at night. But yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah,
with
because
you on
texting
that.
works too. Because I had texted my wife a lot too, but I also think knowing her, like, it makes it easier once you've already met
Yeah,
that
I
person. You know,
agree.
like that. Because if it's like,
Because
you
then you
also
have
feel
that chemistry and connection.
Yeah, there's a
so
vibe.
then you
Yeah.
understand like whenever something's coming over text, you almost know like how they're saying it to you at that point. Yeah, I
How
agree.
Exactly.
how I would improve online dating is I would pull a Tom from MySpace and I would put myself in everyone's inbox.
It's a good way to
I'm
draw
your best
lure
friend.
there.
Shoot your
I'm your
shot.
best friend.
Yeah.
Put me in your top 10, 5 or whatever.
You become like the FBI's
So as,
most wanted list.
Yeah.
Like you're like
Just
number
put
one.
like Apple Music. They just gave everyone that U2
And they
album
can't
that no one
delete you?
wanted.
Yeah.
Beef made a great point too to the age gaps and it's kind of like where you are in life and what you want. Like that, man, that resonates with me so much because I really didn't get the opportunity to date really many Asian girls at all, and that was kind of like always my thing. I was always attracted to Asian girls, and when I went to college, that was like what I looked at. It was like, what is the percentage of like for like Asian Americans at this school, and and I picked a school kind of like that kind of helped make my decision to go to certain schools, and yeah, I'll never forget. Like, I just wanted to party and date and see like what was out there and what it was like to date like different types of Asian girls with like, well, not Korean, but like Chinese, Chinese, Vietnamese, Filipino. So like for me, like there was a time where I was just like party boy, dating different girls, not really committed, and it just I think something hit me when I don't know if it was like through my parents' divorce or something, but I was like, I just had like a brain blast moment. I was like, shit, I gotta grow up. Like I can't live like this forever, just like chasing tail and never like committing to anything solid. Like I kind of felt empty, even though I was like dating someone. I wasn't really like committed or like I didn't see them as wife material. So when I initially met my wife, I was at that point in time where like the party boy was gone, the gambling, drinking, all that was gone. I was like focused on my career. I knew where I wanted to be in like the next 5-10 years, and I told her that, and she was just breaking up with her ex too, and so it was hard for her to say like I want to be committed in this relationship, and I'll never forget this exactly. And I told her was like, I'm not here to waste your time or my time, and I said I'm very serious about having a real relationship with a real woman that I admire and I want to be with, and I told her that's I want to be with her, and I gave her like an ultimatum in a sense, which I know some people would think was bad, but in a sense, I didn't want to beat around the bush with her, nor did she want to beat around the bush with me. She wasn't really sure, and I said, you know what, I'll give you the weekend to think about it, but come Monday, like, I need a decision because I want to take my life seriously. I want to move forward. Like, I can't. I was like in debt. I was just out of like a fraternity, and I was like a wild boy, and I just wanted to get my life straight again and just get back on track and have a partner with me, And I told her, look, at the end of the day, there's only two things I ask of you: is if we get in a serious relationship, I don't want this to feel like a second job to me. I'll always put in work in the relationship, but it should never feel like a job to me. And I said, and the second thing is I don't want drama. That's it.
You're really good at setting expectations. I like that about you.
But you know what? I suggest that for everyone in their relationship. Like have those hard talks in the beginning. It's not like overbearing or anything like that. That's being real, especially like with someone who you think could be your partner. Like setting those realistic expectations and being honest. I mean, it's not always easy, but I told her from the get-go. I said I won't be brutally honest, but I said I will be as honest as I can with you, to the point where I'm not going to hurt your feelings, but I'm going to keep it real. And I told her, the example is, if you ask me how you look in a certain dress and I feel like you don't look that great, I'm going to tell you, because you asked for my honest opinion. What good am I, and this goes for my friends too, what good am I if I sugarcoat shit? At the end of the day, deep down, that core, it's still shit. So that's my mentality, and to me, it's like I wouldn't be a good partner, I wouldn't be a good friend if I wasn't being honest. So, yeah.
So true.
Yeah. As somebody who is currently on, well, I mean, I currently have like active like dating profiles, but I would say I probably, I don't know, maybe I mean, I'm trying. I mean, I'm not trying to be on them forever. Um, but uh, I would say I probably have like I don't know. I'd probably say I have like the most experience out of Nightmare Night as far as like I don't know. I guess maybe like use of the dating app or like trying to
You've
like meeting people from them or like
you've met someone, right?
trying to like I don't know.
You've met someone, right?
I've met quite a few people. I've met
Then you
quite a
have
few people.
more experience than I.
Kind of sound like a
Yeah,
mayor
and
running
I
for a
think
city.
honestly, the three of you guys honestly like it brings up some good, very valid points. I think the things I definitely wholeheartedly agree with. Um, and to Goichi's point about setting expectations and stuff and kind of pulling himself together, trying to be, trying to show, you're a different person. You're trying to like get yourself ready for something serious. I myself like actually know exactly how that feels because there's a point in my life where I was kind of pulling myself up by the bootstraps between school and everything else and some other stuff that happened. And unfortunately, I didn't necessarily, I think I just barely missed getting myself up, back up on my feet in time. And it kind of cost me shoulda, coulda, woulda with, with a woman that and to be frank, like to be honest, like I wholeheartedly like fell in love with this girl, um, and it cost me a possible future with her. Um, and so I always think back to that because it's like you always think like what could have been. I've passed it, but I would say that like for the dating apps now, I think there's just like definitely a lot of fake shit on there because one, there's like fake accounts, but then obviously you're trying to like sell yourself to somebody and so like you're gonna put the best of you or what you think people are gonna want from you on there. And so I think a lot of people do lie about a lot of stuff, not only about like their profiles, but like their biographies, but like picture wise, it's like you doctor up photos, you take photos of doing certain things that might get you more people to swipe on you or to like you for things.
Just watch 90
Myself,
Day
not so much.
Fiance.
I just yeah, Big Ed, I'm just trying to I'm like my pictures are terrible. Like I mean, they're not the best quality, but like I honestly just put pictures where it like hopefully shows that I smile because other than that, I probably have like a super serious face and I look like I'm pissed off, but like I just hopefully uh I mean, I'd like to think that like my smile is like fairly decent, so it's like maybe I'll try to show that off and someone will be like, "Yeah, you know what? The guy's got a decent beard and a decent smile.
Oh, you're being
Doesn't
too
look like he'd
modest.
kill me. So you know what? He doesn't look like I have anything to worry about, and let's give this guy a go." So I mean, and that's the thing. Like I don't know, I'm in a weird situation here where like obviously I moved from California out to the Midwest, and so it's new out here. It's I'm looking for like what's the next step in my life. I'm at the point where it's like obviously I have like a family and like a wife, so um it's just trying to find somebody that maybe has a similar mindset. um may not have found somebody that has a similar mindset. uh I don't know, we'll see. We'll have to a
Is there a
Wait,
potential
are you
date.
wait? Is
dating?
there a potential
Yeah,
Mrs. Coach?
yeah. I feel like you were just
No,
like
no.
you're hinting right there that
So
you're
no,
seeing
Whoa, you
someone.
were
Why are you
definitely
no.
blushing?
hinting.
So there's not a there. Okay, so there's not a potential Mrs. Coach, like as of right now. There is a potential for like a second date with
So there's an
Coach.
Annie up here.
Um,
You got a
Potential
date?
Mrs. Coach.
So there's a Annie up. There's a small blind and a big blind's coming up.
Yeah, there
Is
you
what
go.
you're saying.
hopefully,
Okay.
she's. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. She's. I don't know. She's actually from California, so that's the kind of nice part.
Nice.
But she's super nice, awesome. She's athletic, so we've had. I mean, we had a great time the first time out. So we'll see.
Good for you,
I don't know. It's
Coach.
gonna turn into like that social media saga in Arizona where the guy like he tweeted out to the Diamondbacks that his buddy was on a date
I
Oh,
and
saw
they
that
put
was
him on the
that.
great.
jumbotron,
That
and
was
then they
epic.
went to an Arizona Coyotes game,
Yep.
and then they went on 3 dates, and then unfortunately there was no fourth date.
No way.
Uh,
No.
I feel
Yeah,
like
no,
that was like the
they
worst to do because it creates this like
Pressure.
yeah,
It
was
was.
like yeah, it's like
That's
It
what a
was
lot of
cute.
people
I
said.
thought they were going to be a couple.
it'd be cool if it was like I guess there's no other way to do
I
it. You have to do it first date, I guess. But I just thought it was like
Yeah,
man, I thought
I honestly.
the pressure is huge. Like the whole world knows
Well,
who you.
the
Like
guy
we're
said.
talking about it today. Like that's
Yeah.
how big it got. You know.
Yeah.
The guy basically said, I think either one of the teams or somebody reached out from like a organization of some sort or something like that. I had like, hey, is there going to be a fourth date? We saw the thing about the third date and this and that, and he said, unfortunately, we're no longer pursuing like going out, and he gave like a reason about like it's a traditional case of like potentially meeting the right person at the wrong time of their life, or when they're potentially not ready for something that you both want or something like that, which I'm like, that's another thing with like the dating apps that this is going to get into like a grind my gears session here, but it's like if you're on a dating app and like you keep talking with somebody and like you get the whole cliche like, oh, I'm just not ready for this, like, or like I'm not, like you're
totally
nice,
wasting time,
but
sure.
yeah, it's like you're super nice and I have a lot of fun with you, but, and then it's like whatever follows that afterwards is like, take that out of here, take that outside.
Yeah, I don't need the butt. Just say you don't want
anyway,
it.
that's
Just
yeah.
rip the Band-Aid
So
off,
I mean, that's just my thing. I think if they could make one improvement or maybe one thing they could add, I think you guys were talking about the whole like lost in translation, or the context when you text somebody. It just seems very flat and stuff. I would say like Bumble already has one where basically the girl has to message you first if you match. I would say, why not make like the first communication you have to like send videos back and forth where like you actually get to hear the tone of somebody's voice and you see them. And I don't know, it's like I feel like it takes a lot of people out of their comfort zone a bit, like big time. Like I'd totally be down for it because
yeah, I feel like
whatever.
that's in the vein of Beef's upgrade where it's like a video.
Yeah, so it's like I like that improved communication aspect of it. I don't know how else they would really do it because it's like I figure no matter if it stays text, I think you're still gonna get fake accounts. You're gonna get people lying about shit. You're gonna get people trying to prop themselves up. It's just gonna be fake. I mean, it's already really fake. It is what it is. But yeah, that's I'm very interested in like your guys' take on this stuff. So I think that this was enlightening for the listeners for sure.
For sure.
And hey, if anybody's got a hot sister or cousin that Nightmare needs, if anyone needs a +1 for a wedding, Nightmare is probably available. So,
oh man,
and
who would not want it? He's got a tuxedo.
It'd be funny if you came out and you're like, I've got a tuxedo, and then you come out and it's just a T-shirt with a tuxedo.
Tuxedo T-shirt.
Yeah.
That would be so funny.
Like, this is serious business.
It says
Is my tie straight?
Honestly, hey, if you did that and the
You're the
girl
James
laughs,
Bond.
you
Like
literally.
James
Oh,
Bond.
I have to marry
You
her.
marry her.
I have to marry her.
Yeah, no,
Funny.
no, seriously, if she laughs, if you do that with a tuxedo T-shirt and she cracks up laughing, I don't care what the fuck you have on you. You drop down and ask her right then and there, okay?
Just kick the actual bride and groom off and be like, I'm marrying her now.
Yeah, this is a double wedding.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But
Like,
well, boys, we have. Oh God. We have our last segment of the evening.
we
have
get copyrighted for me singing that.
Probably will.
We have to.
They're like it was too.
We have
what's
to.
her
We have
name?
to
Who's
keep
this?
it.
Oh,
Coach is trying to talk
Sorry.
here.
seriously.
Well, I was gonna say
Sorry.
we have to keep it to one segment because Beef has to go watch the reruns of Dawson's Creek tonight before he goes insane here. So,
I don't want to win.
Oh my God.
guy's gonna lose his mind looking over at old James Vanderbeek. So,
Man.
and what's
You
his
didn't say
what's his
Joshua
face from
Jackson? You literally didn't say.
Okay,
Joshua
that's what I was
Jackson?
trying to think of. That's
Charlie Conway. I always leave.
Charlie
with that.
Conway. That's the only way I know him.
that's because James Vanderbeek was the bigger like, oh, I'm so emotional and I don't know what to do in high school person of that show.
Oh, that's the guy from Varsity
I mean,
Blues,
maybe.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you really like that show.
But well, okay, so last segment for the night is going to be, well, oddly enough, we're talking about high school. It's going to be called Take 'em to School. So the point of Take 'em to School Obviously, we've all gone through elementary school, we've gone through high school. We've uh, I mean, I can speak for myself and like saying that like some of the classes I took at college for my undergrad are just well, like a complete utter waste of time and money, and absolutely have nothing to do with my degree. Um, and I hated them. I hated some of them, but um, the point of this segment is what's a subject that you think should be taught in school that is not necessarily that it's not there, but like what's a new subject that maybe hasn't been part of curriculum before that you think should be taught in schools now? A good like life lesson, a good valuable lesson, something that's practical or whatever, whatever it is. Maybe it's more thought provoking than the current curriculum. Um, Based off what we let's keep it like let's go like high school level where I think that like maybe kids are a little bit more able to uh, maybe like kind of like translate some of these extra these courses here, or might have a little bit more freedom in terms of what we can kind of come up with the classes. So
Pick me,
um,
coach.
I'm
Pick
gonna
me.
go ahead. Oh, okay.
Goichi
So okay,
is
sweet.
volunteering, so
Well, in the back of the classroom there, Goichi, go
yeah.
ahead. What do you got?
Thanks, coach. So for
You
me,
got it.
this is high school, right? But if there was something like maybe once a week, or it's like an ongoing practice, right? But I saw online that there's a place called Kidzania. I don't know where it's located, but it's called Kidzania. Actually, let me see where it's located. But anyways, it's
Wait,
called
no,
Kidzania.
they need to sponsor us before you can give them a
It's
shout
in
out.
London. It's coming to London. It's a theme park where
Hmm.
kids play at being adults, and everything themed out there is like different types of occupations that these kids can learn about and actually like live out. Like they learn about like being a doctor, or what it is to be a veterinarian or a chef or
Hmm.
an accountant. And I think that would be so cool for like high school kids. Like if there was a class where like that's pretty much what it was based on, and you had experts
Hmm.
or like just even volunteers, right? Like if they want to do community service and go to these schools and be like a mentor, almost like you have a, what were those called, like Big Brother or Pen Pals or whatever
Yeah,
growing up?
Big Brother.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that at a high school where you have a mentorship from freshman year all the way going to senior, and they've mentored you in whatever your passion or career path is. Or like there's counselors that actually will guide you like to whatever you like and try and present you with options. I feel like there's nothing, at least from me growing up in the high school I went to, like there was nothing engaging like that where people, like adults, actually cared about like what you're going to do for the rest of your life after you get out of high school. All they gave a shit about was teaching the
Hmm.
curriculum and if you passed or didn't pass, right? Like that's all they cared about. And I think it'd be cool if there was something hands-on where you could learn about different careers and like actual trades. Because even if you walk away from
Hmm.
school and you don't follow a certain career path that you were learning, you have that skill set. Or like just even being like able to change a tire, like you learn automobile stuff, like just by default you never even want to take that career
Hmm.
path, but you've learned now how to be like self-efficient and like a do-it-yourself like home type of person, like that way you're prepared
Hmm.
for like the outside adult world instead of like relying on mom and dad. Because like for me, I had to learn everything on my own, really. Like I had to learn from messing up all the time, or like shit not working in my place, and I had to figure out how to fix it on my own. Because it's either that or pay a expensive plumber or something. So there's different things,
Hmm.
but I think if people could learn trades and like and actually like look into careers that they're interested in. Because even my cousin, like she went to school and blood, sweat, and tears, man, to be a accountant, and that wasn't her cup of tea. She did her first job and she realized she didn't like it. But I feel like if you did something where it wasn't like job pressured, and it was in an environment where you're like in a shitty company, it's more of like this is pretty much what this type of career is. It's not based on like what type of company you go to. This is kind of what it is. Then you get like almost like I could say like agnostic version of like that type of trade or that type of career path versus like being influenced by a shitty company, because I almost got pushed out of IT because I didn't really care for the company I was working at the time, and I was like, you know what, I hate IT, I hate my job, like I need to find something else. Like I was willing to work like one of those guys, and no credit taken away from these guys. I was willing to do like Sunrun at a Costco, and be the guys at those booths
Hmm.
like drawing attention to people, and I was willing to give up a whole career path because I thought I hated IT. And Luckily, I landed a job at another IT company, and I realized, okay, wait, I don't hate IT. I just hated the environment I was in, and it made me hate my job. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my takeaway for like adding a good curriculum to school is like career driven like education, and like just let
Yeah.
kids be like, even high school kids, just let them be
It's
curious
like
and
informational for them.
yeah, and like you get like I think hands-on experience is so key, because I come from a background where I don't have a
Mm-hmm.
degree. I'm a college dropout. I'm not necessarily proud to say that, but I'm proud of like my journey for not like staying in school, that I've still made
Mm-hmm.
it. And like to learn the hands-on experience that I did in IT, I'm not even a Lego builder, and I was working on servers, router switches,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to learn from the ground up how to teach myself. Google was my best friend learning IT. And then
Mm-hmm.
once I got like a couple years in and I knew my shit, we were hiring people with what is it, science technology degrees from like UCLA, UCI, USC, and I'm training these guys. So as soon as that started happening, I realized like, as if I get hands-on experience, that's a lot more valuable to people than having a degree saying I read how to do this job. Versus I've worked in the trenches, I have all
Mm-hmm.
this background experience, I know how to do this shit, and I've trained the guys that you guys think out of college can do my job. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's huge. Hands-on experience, learning about career paths, that's big. That would add a lot of value to kids.
Yeah, I think what goes well with that too is that at such a we tell kids at 18 to sign a loan big enough more than a mortgage, you know. And I think I think
Mm-hmm.
it's really unfair to tell it to ask a child that has no idea about, like, what
Yeah.
to your point, like doesn't know anything about the world uh, other than these curriculums that were designed in the 40s to. So you've designed a
Mm-hmm.
kid, and you've aged them, you've put them in a time capsule of learning that is not comparable, nor is it beneficial to them long term in in terms of survivalism, because none of these courses
Mm-hmm.
will actually, at the end of the day, help them survive. It could lead them to a path of understanding. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that's a really, like, if a child has a lot more knowledge of something that they've done a workshop on, or they've done
Yep.
something that kind
Yep.
of helps them feel like it sparks an interest, then yeah, I think that's great, because I think that would help them make a better decision. At 18, they understand that if they're jumping into that career, they've seen kind of the ins and outs of it a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. I totally agree with you. I think that should be like number one thing that should be offered to not only like private school kids but public school kids too as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like to have that
Absolutely.
ability.
Because when has anyone
Okay.
ever came up to you and said like, do you want to be an entrepreneur? No one's ever asked me that, right?
Mhm.
But it's like most people
Mm-hmm.
want to be an entrepreneur, but it's like where's the resources? Where's the mentorship for that? Nowhere, right? So you have to
Right.
go out there and get it
Where's like a
yourself.
good example, like who can you ask for like advice, and like who's willing to like give that advice? Like where do you have to like look up those resources?
Yeah,
Because
or like guest speakers,
I think
right?
those are some big things. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think like I mean, I think there's definitely plenty of entrepreneurs out there that I think are willing to talk about stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's definitely trying to get those kids in front of them, and like have that as an available resource. Like it doesn't need to be like it doesn't need to be like a Gary V or
Mm-hmm.
like a Mark Cuban or something like that. Like there's plenty of successful entrepreneurs that aren't worth $600 million, or something like that. They just decided to make their own business, and it's been plentiful for them to support their family and do the things that they want to do. And they don't have to own like a sports franchise to
Yep.
be a successful entrepreneur. Like you could just, hey, I want to start my own business, a small business, do something, and I just don't want to work for somebody else. But
Or you guys
um,
know, like in
that,
sports too, you could learn about, like, you can have an ex-retired professional player of any sport come in, and he talks about like
mhm,
what he did after he retired, like invested in real estate,
yeah,
started his own business, how he managed his money, who he relied on to like
hmm
manage that money. So it's like all that stuff is like huge value growing up as a kid. So yeah.
I feel
hmm
like that's touching on a lot of subjects too. Like
Mhm.
you could definitely
Yeah.
like you could split that up to like aptitude tests or an aptitude curriculum where you go and see what does a plumber do, or like what does a lawyer do, what does
Mhm.
a desk worker do, and then a separate one would be like finance, like how to invest, like
Yep.
what is investing, like
And then like maybe all these kids learn about investing, accounts? And then one kid, like a couple of kids are like, you know what, I just want to be an investor now because I like this
exactly.
So much. Yeah, definitely, man.
Mm-hmm. I think that like something that definitely came to mind for this. This hits a little bit really close to home actually for me, because when I was in high school, we had wood shop available to us as a class. Now, it was to some, it was seen as like an easy A because our teacher was pretty relaxed and a very nice man. But they would literally just come in and like dick around and like, you know, try and have their way with stuff in wood shop, and they do the bare minimum and all this other shit and just try to like get a free easy couple of credits. However, like myself, like I took it because I'm like, well, that means you get to like build stuff. Yeah. And it's like I just want to build stuff with my things, and I'm like I just want to like I enjoy putting stuff together. And so for me, I saw it as an opportunity, and it started as a small project. Everybody freshman year, your first project is like a cutting board. Of course, I'm like, the lines aren't all that straight on this and that, but my mom looked at it when I brought it home and was like, oh my God, we're going to use this so much. This is awesome. It's in the garage, and it's been there for it's been there for a decade, or it's actually been there for more than a decade now. And it's never been used. But then it turned into like another small project, and it turned into this, and then like I actually made another small project that like I didn't get to keep it. It went on display for like the arts and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
And then like it actually got like it was put together in like a package with other stuff that got like silent auctioned off for like the arts department and stuff.
That's such a huge compliment to your work.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been everybody else's project that they liked, and they're like, "Well, we'll just take this piece of shit with it." But it was the last thing I made there before I didn't take woodshop anymore was I made like a coffee table that's actually still at my parents' house, and it's one of those things that when I come home this summer, I actually need to like kind of retouch it up. I need to put a new finish on it. About 12 years later. But I mean, I was incredibly proud of that because, like, I love building stuff, like I said, but two, it was like I look at it and I'm like, it's functional. People talked about it when they came in the house. They liked it, like, oh, it's a nice table. And my mom's like, yeah, my son built that. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I built that. And awesome. So it's a talking piece, but I think that like my class that like my stuff that I think should be back or should be in school. It's not new. I think it needs to really be brought back. Is like like you're talking about like trade stuff, like woodworking, metal shop. I get the safety concerns with that stuff. Auto shop, like a home economics course, like that stuff, like things that like practical shit that needs to be brought back. Like how many kids are using? I think like the big arguments, like how many kids are going on and using like honor statistics or like trigonometry in their everyday life. Like, yeah, I passed trigonometry with an A, but I don't know how to like cut a piece of wood, or I don't know how to like fix something around the house. So for me, that's kind of like that general idea is like where I would have.
Yeah. So the genesis of this idea was like new, more useful subjects, and then subjects that you could definitely do without in like high school or in school. And trigonometry was the top one. It's like if I'm gonna throw out one subject.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was trigonometry. I was like, I've never needed to know.
Yeah, fuck it.
The long side of a triangle, like, and there are careers where you do need to know that, and like, but for your basic education, I don't need to know that. Like, there's so much more that I wish I would have learned in school than some of the ridiculous math that was thrown at me in high school.
Yeah, oddly enough, if I wasn't a strength coach, actually, like I've never welded before, but I've always wanted to learn. But definitely, like woodworking has been something I've thought about making a career. If coaching doesn't work out for me in the long run, I mean, I trying to. It'd be cool if I could do it on the side. But oddly enough.
Oh
yes,
Forge and Fire.
Yeah. But oddly enough, the trigonometry and the geometry stuff, I actually might need to know a little bit of that if I do some woodworking. So I can't tax it too much. But I would like to get before this segment comes to a conclusion, real quick bite. I want everybody, if you had to, like, what would the name of your class be? If you were like if you're teaching this, or if you're coming up with this class name, I want you guys to come up with the name of a class that you would offer to students. Like, and it can't be like economics 101, or like I want a good like working title with this.
Do you go, G, or do you want me to go?
You go first.
Okay, so
Who wants to go first? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Namer?
I'll go first. Yeah. So
All right, let's come up with your class name.
Yeah. So my class would be it would be state to state, and you would learn your rights and your state laws in depth. So again,
Ooh.
the genesis of this this idea I had was I was watching. They're called the police videos. It's basically regular citizens schooling or like teaching police, like, or having encounters with police where the police are unlawfully detaining or unlawful searching and just like bullying these. And I'm a proponent of the police, but I'm not blind enough to say that like they're all angels and saints working. There's definitely some corrupt people that some bullies in the police force, and there are sometimes the citizens are ignorant of their rights and what the laws that the police can do, and there are some that are just like super knowledgeable, and this is not a lawful stop. This is going against my civil rights, and I feel like that is a big thing that should be taught to, especially our youth, our high school students, especially teenagers that are going into adulthood, going into responsibility and encounters with police as adults, and can be tried as adults. And if you are giving away information that you don't need to give away, etc., learn, step one, call a lawyer. But like just in-depth stuff of like one of the main things I learned is you have to actually state that you are exercising your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. You can't just remain silent and have it be implied that you are exercising your Fifth Amendment right. You have to actually state it. If you don't actually state it, they can use your silence as guilt. But if you do explicitly state it, then you can't be held explicitly guilty. So that's like just one little thing that I've learned. Like, I feel like that's a big thing, is these kids going into adulthood learning their rights, and I feel like that would be a good name for
civics.
that.
It used to be called.
Yeah, it used to be called. I was thinking about it, and it was civics, and now I'd be like, it would be something around our laws or your rights, and then you would learn, and was civics was it did it go in depth like that, or was it was it just about like because I remember we had government.
No, we never got taught civics.
Yeah.
It was back our parents got taught civics.
Yeah.
And that brings up another question, like, why is something like that getting removed from our school system, right?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's a better question, because like because I could play devil's advocate on the wood stuff, like as we're becoming a society where you are replacing money in term for services, right? So like doing a trade, I understand, or woodworking or welding, doing all those, but like in terms of like learning at the high school age, do I see that as fundamental to the develop for you to develop as a child, as an adult, and survive in this current society? And that's how you should analyze every class. I think civics is I actually think G's is really good too, because you should that should be updated. The job market for G's course needs to be updated every year.
Yep.
And re-looked at every year, because new jobs are coming that did not exist before, like and like even Twitch, like being a Twitch streamer, right? That could be doing a gaming, like doing all those things. So and then going back to your civics,
or like being a lawyer, there's new laws in place.
I was just gonna say is like new precedents, new laws,
which that should be in every
new court cases.
It should be from kindergarten to 18.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that they're updated. at a like a basic level, and then it becomes more in depth
Yeah.
as they
You
understand
just keep
it.
building on it.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think it also encourages individualism,
Mm-hmm.
where you understand that the government didn't give you these. You were born with these, and our government is the people agreed that these are the rights within the state that you live or the county you live in,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's for a very lost art. So yeah, I think civics is like why that ever left is, I don't know why that's out of the. I think it's a joke that it's out of our system. I think it's not fair to the kids and to the development of our youth too.
Yeah, I feel like giving it a very blunt name, like your rights or state laws.
Mm-hmm.
It like I feel like it makes it more enticing in my opinion. And the obvious I said before the the subject I would throw out is definitely trigonometry. Just
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it's I don't want to say it's useless because people use it like people do have careers where they use it, but like to me and what I do it's useless.
Mm-hmm.
Even algebra is like there's finding x, it's this number minus what number equals this number, like that. You could apply that to your bank statements. There's applications for advanced math, but I don't know when it comes to like shapes and finding.
I think most of how history is also taught to us is a waste of time. I think you can analyze every subject in school the way it was taught is poorly misconstrued. It doesn't like if you're so the goal of learning to me or the goal of being taught something is you're supposed to learn something from it, right? Like that's as simple as it is. So like history to me is like why do you even learn something that has no value to you? Like there should be a value from there should be an historical lesson, right? Because like why are we talking about something that happened in the 1700s, right? Like why does that matter now? Like does it really make a difference whether your survivalism actually plays into that? Can it? Yeah, it can. There could be things in history, but I think that's how history should be defined is what are important lessons in history, and you combine them. You
Abe
don't.
Lincoln versus vampires.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of, but like going back to the trigonometry is to your point of is that you analyze it by every subject. Is that like you have to take pieces of every part of math and bring in and what really applies as a whole. I mean, again, basic algebra is probably the only thing that the general population needs to have an understanding of to at least step in. But you could just say basic math.
Well, even in our modern era,
Yeah.
it's like almost every person carries at least one calculator on them now, right?
Yeah,
through your phone,
it's on
through
your
your
computer,
through your watch, through your laptop.
And we rely on it. Like
And you can Google. You can Google like
Yeah,
give me the
yeah, and even
this side of a triangle, and
Yeah.
it'll do it.
So
But like, did schools predict that something like that? Would be that accessible?
No, because teachers would always say you're not gonna have a calculator on you wherever you go. And
Yeah, that's very true. They always did say that.
that is a very common meme that
That was a lie.
I'm not original.
Pockets.
Yeah, I'm not original.
I think the school system is designed by people that, if you think about the people that teach too, like you're teaching the same, like if I was a teacher and I could go back, if I was choosing the profession of teaching, I would love to teach something I don't know, right? Like you're teaching, like if you're coming in, it's like we should be updating the school curriculum every 5 years, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It should be looked at. It should be analyzed. Sometimes we even have to say we strip it down, right?
Yeah.
But I'll stay on topic to what we're talking about because I could go off. But kind of going off of what G said about boot camps or school, like courses that give kids the ability to make a better decision in terms of jobs. I look at what school should be. You're investing. You think about what there's no investment in your life like school, right? Like tell me one.
Yeah.
There isn't. Like
8 hours a
In your
day.
younger development, yeah.
Yeah, maybe marriage you can say is a bigger investment. You could say a home could be a bigger investment. You could say a job if you're at a job for 30 or 40 years. But you were from 4 to 18, or some people. You're in school till you're 30, right?
Yeah.
So you are literally investing all of this, and it's not like you're investing.
And at a young age, it's not really a choice either.
Yeah, you're going for like 8 hours, right? So this is the biggest investment of your life, and you're investing it into all these things that were designed in the 40s, right? There's a whole rap. It's a rap. A guy like a rapper did this where he raps about how the system itself is outdated, and it was actually designed. It's parallel and designed after the prison system. The school system and the way a common school day is no different than what a prisoner goes
Yeah.
through, or the recess and all. And I listened to rap, and then I looked it up, and I was like, and it goes into the whole like history, like translating that to history is like, why aren't we taught even that? Basic things like that. Why is the school system the way it is, right?
I get in trouble for asking teachers, why can't we learn outside?
Yeah, it's and so teachers are like, to me, like how a teacher should be is like, I think the greatest teacher is life and failure. I think failure is the ultimate teacher, in my opinion. I would say I've never learned more from life than failure. But I keep going off on a tangent. I'm sorry. I think that if you're going, what I was saying about school is it's survivalism, right? You should teach you this investment should teach you how to survive in the current. And you think about it, when you're 4 years old, it changes to by the time you're 18. Like, you think about how much has changed since we were 4 to 18. What about 18 to 30, right?
Mhm.
We had so much change in society. So it needs to be updated for those kids. And it's a disadvantage to the people that have already graduated. You know, they're already out, but at least they were prepped for whatever world was there when they were, when they were like 18.
True.
But I think the biggest thing that is still, and it's a fucking joke to me, it's the biggest fucking joke of them all, is that we never take any courses on managing or like the value of a dollar and budgeting money and budgeting your finances and
taking out a loan. How do you get a credit card?
Well, that's in depth, but like just the simple part of when you earn $1, let's talk about what's the best course of action as like, in this world today, like, because in like 50 years it may not be the investment strategy may not be the optimal now, it's like, but what are good goals is that you have this money, what should you do? You go back in the 40s, what was it? What was the best thing to do when you got money in your pocket?
Buy a home.
Or yeah, that's or I meant like, so you a lot of times they put it in banks, right? They used to tell you like put it in banks.
Yeah.
Put it in banks.
Oh.
And banks back in the day used to earn a lot. You actually used to earn a lot, or not a lot, but you earned a good interest. Like, I think at one point it was almost like 10%. It was a great strategy. But over the years, it just keeps declining. And now it's a joke that what you make in a savings account. It is actually a waste of money to leave money. It for most people, they don't understand this. In today's market, it doesn't make sense. Like, you can put in your savings account, but it doesn't make sense. You are not that. So with inflation, which is another thing that's not taught, is inflation is on average, which inflation, what that pretty much is for everybody at home, is the dollar loses its value by a certain percentage on an annual basis. So meaning, if you hear inflation, the word inflation, now when we do a lot of these stimulus packages, it increases inflation. So the average is about 3% a year. So meaning your money in your bank account is going down 3%. It's just sitting. So you have, let's say, like $100,000. Let's say it just sat there. It's just going down and down and down in a bank account.
You're teaching a financing class
Yeah,
now.
yeah. So it's like, but like what bugs me is like those simple things to a kid is like when they get it. The first thing that I remember when I got money, I was like, oh, I'm gonna spend this. Like, I didn't.
That's literally almost every kid.
Yeah,
and
it's like,
that's the problem right there.
And that's like, maybe that would happen anyways.
But imagine what you could teach a kid if they got $1, and you're like, imagine what you could do if you could turn this into $20.
Exactly.
We were never taught that.
Exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
I was taught if I got money, I'm like, okay, how am I?
At least you're educating them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I got money, I was like, how am I going to balance this money out to go to a PC cafe, to hang out with my friends and play video games, and then I got to afford, the Chinese food, Ho Ho China next door. So I got to balance out my money. But at the end of the day, I didn't care what happened to that money.
Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure I had enough to buy what I wanted, right?
Yeah.
But I was never taught the value of a real dollar and what you can make out of that.
And I think what sucks is that, like, why is that in school, in business school, you learn that, but like, why do you have to go to business school to learn the basic survivalism of today?
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it's just simple. Like, that's not a business thing. Like, that's economics is not a business. It is a like, understanding how the stock market works. Like, people are like, oh, it's too complicated. No. That should have been taught to you. Like, but the course I would call it it's simple. Budgeting 101. That's it. And we need to teach the youth how to budget, because you're now putting you're putting kids in front of, again, we talked about when G talked about his course with the learning these different occupations. We talked about how, like, 18, you're asked to make a major decision that is pretty much the size of a mortgage with APR that's lucrative, where it almost like
they can't default on it.
Yeah, and that's the worst part, is like not only it does to this child's life, from a time perspective, but it stops them from being able to make other major decisions later in life. And it literally paralyzes them. Debt paralyzes you. And again, like, people need to make sacrifices. Sometimes the juice is worth the squeeze. But I think if we get the child to understand the concepts of budgeting, taxation, how taxes can work in your favor, but I think the budgeting part is the most important, because if you understand that, you can now make an educated decision on how you're going to, because most kids would be like, I'm not going to buy, like, the power becomes back to the intelligence is shifted back to the child, not these banks that have all these finance majors that understand how APR works, and they're just, at the end of the day, they're making commission off of this, and they're just like, yeah, child, just sign this away. Well, an 18-year-old is like, I'm going to USC, I'm going to Stanford, and I'm going to pay $200,000, and then it's like, you end up may not even be able to take that. You end up going there, and God forbid you don't live up to the expectation of whatever you have all this pressure on, this financial pressure on you, and now you're gonna crack, and then maybe you survive into the going to the world, and it amounts to money, but ultimately you're taking advantage of a system that is led by a bunch of finance majors and business majors, and they're, at the end of the day, they're just surviving. They're doing what they need to do to survive. But when we teach kids budgeting, you put the power back into the kids. You put it, they understand, nah, I'm not gonna get a loan like that. And the more you get more and more kids saying, I'm not gonna do a loan that way, the banks are like, like, no,
I think that's part of the parents' jobs too, because
it is part of
my dad didn't educate me at all on that, but he gave me a hard choice where, like, he wasn't going to support me 100% to go to school. So he put me in a position where I had to make a hard decision. Was it I put myself in debt for the next, whatever number of years, and, like, maybe get a decent degree in business, or I lucked out and I got into IT, and do I work on that trade? And as soon as I knew, like, you can get certifications, and that's how you really justify on paper what you're capable of and what your pay should be, I was like, that's a no-brainer for me. So that's exactly why I invested my time into that. So I live debt free.
And that's what sucks, is like you're oh, go ahead, Coach.
Oh no, go ahead. Finish it. You go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, that. Not every kid though has like that, the instinct that you conveyed there,
Yeah.
And I'm not like, I'm just benefit of the doubt is even the person that has none of that, like the common sense, where they need to be taken care of, and they at least need to be shown the door, like shown the path. And if they make the choice not to take that path, that's on them. But that's on the parenting too, because I agree with you. But like, that's what sucks, is like,
it's tough.
It's not fair. It's not fair at all to the kids.
And that route, that bad route you're talking about, especially like putting yourself in debt. It's like, as soon as they're done with school, like, you're just bombarded with hard choices. Like, yeah, life is about hard choices, but like, you're putting them in a funnel now of just hard choices.
Yeah, it's like starting almost bare. It's like digging a hole for them and then saying like, all right, now
climb out of here without a ladder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whereas like when people don't have that as much debt, they can kind of like, they don't feel the pressure of having to push themselves out of something. You
Exactly.
Know? It's like,
and you're free to still pursue the career that you wanted to do, but then you're flexible to like go through your other ventures, whether that's personally, financially, for like your spouse, whatever. But then, if you're in debt, man, debt is just a killer. Credit cards are killers.
Can't even start their own business. Like, the ability for them to start their own business is gonna be even harder.
Like, they have that debt.
It's like
part of their portfolio.
Student loans.
Well, we even talk about like occupations. People will change their occupations. In life, and that happens. So, but like, now you spent like 20 years of your life spending money.
You made that bed. You got to sleep in it now.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like it's like horrible. It may be a job you hate the rest of your life too. Like you said at the county and like with your cousin.
Yeah.
Like that happens.
It gave her an ulcer, dude. It stressed her out.
Yeah.
But you know what? I believe it was owners. I feel bad because like I should have said something to her, but it's just like, it's to each his own. But I felt like she was in the same situation as me. It's like you're with a shitty company, shitty environment. Like, just, you got to give it another shot. And luckily I had, my mom, who was in my corner when I was like defeated, and I thought like, I wasn't going to get a job at all. I was really down on my luck, and she lit that fire under my ass again, where I went door to door. And I'll never forget, like, that's the biggest thing too, is like, whatever your passion is in life, and this is a bit off topic, but like, whatever your passion is in life, like, fuck what everyone else says. Do what you feel is best for you. Because I'll never forget when one of my good friends told me, like, it was stupid for me to knock on doors. He's like, I would never do that. I'm like, that's exactly why at that time he didn't have a job. And that, I thought that in my head, but I'm like, who are you to say like, it's stupid of me to knock on doors when here I am with a career path now because I knocked on a door, and it was just his mentality of like, that's old school. Like no one does that shit anymore. Well, it's like, who says that? Who made that
Now
law?
I do.
Huh?
Yeah, now I do. Now I do
Yeah,
it.
so
G, hey G, so we know like what your class would be around. Do you have a working title
I would
for
call
like what
it.
would be your class or
I wouldn't even base it around career. I would just call it your path. That would be the class.
your
Your
path?
path.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think the other thing I would try and do as a teacher in that class, I would try to expand that within like all the different high schools around me, and then like maybe once a quarter collab with all the high schools, get them all together and have group setting collaboration. So like, let's say you had
Hmm.
everyone like in one class for nursing, one class for lawyers, then you meet up with all these different high schools and you network with each other, because eventually these kids are going to grow up, right? You're building a network at a young age. And that's what I think is cool. And then you get a
Hmm.
perspective from different schools and how they're teaching those different verticals, right? And then what if a kid he's like, you know what? I was in this lawyer class, but now that we're going to connect with all the other schools, I want to see what nursing is like, or I want to see what plumbing's like, or
Hmm.
I want to see what, being a chef is like. Like I think that
Hmm.
freedom of choice is like, it's key to our generations growing up, man. So I think that
Yeah.
would be so cool
I
to
think
see too.
no, that'd be awesome. I think for mine, I looked at like any like the like a wood shop and stuff like that. I looked at those
Mm-hmm.
things. We also had wood turning, by the way. I forgot about that when I first brought that up. Which I never actually took wood turning because
What is that?
um, I don't want to have like putting wood on a lathe, and it spins at a really high rate, and
Oh.
then you like carve at it. So like a lot of people like make bowls or vases. In that class, you made like your first project was like a pen. So you hand turned like wood to like make the outer parts
Oh
of a
wow.
pen, and then you put it together. So like I look at it as more of like an art form, much like pottery class or like um, sculpting, and like everyone, they got paint, you got like different mediums of art. And so I always looked at it like woodshop for me as like an art form. For me, it's like I can take what used to be a tree and I can make into something functional and like practical for somebody or myself if I'm being selfish. And I see that with the same way with like we had brought up that Forge and Fire show, but like using that for like welding and stuff. But it's I don't know, like people, like there's plenty of people that make money off of art, doing stuff like that for people. But
Mm-hmm.
um, I think I was trying to come up with like a clever uh working title, like let's just say if I did wood shop. Um, and so I don't know, maybe we I mean, you can't at a high school, you can't call it this, but one of the things that the one of the clever class names that I had was money for your hardwood 101. And
Wow.
how to
Yes.
make art how to make art out of for like carpentry and stuff, and just like
Just call it
express yourself,
carpentry.
we can just call it
Yeah,
carpentry.
why
I
don't
mean, in
you?
high
Description of
school we
that
can call it
name, you
carpentry.
made it sound
Are you
very
If this is
innocent.
at
Are you taking that boner class?
if this was yeah. Well, I was thinking like what would it this really reminded me of the movie Accepted, and we had brought it up in the pre stream like meeting with us. It had somehow come across, and they had like all these different class names on the board. It's like I don't know what I want to do 401. It's like it's a class about we talk about we don't know what we want to do, and like all those like things. So I think it's
God, I would ace that
I think
course.
that was a little bit inspiration. But no, I think that we all definitely brought up some good ideas, and I do think that everything that we kind of talked about is definitely stuff that I think there's some things that I wish I would have known earlier in life, and I think that we can all agree on
Mm-hmm.
that. And there's things that we wish we would have known, but some of that stuff you just have to kind of go through life. But at least like a point that was brought up with all of us through everything here is like even if kids like learn this stuff or you teach them these things and they don't apply them, they don't they don't save money, they go out and spend it, they go and it's like at least you're supplying something for them in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you're giving them a fighting shot, at least, like
Yeah, at least the
you
ball's
know
in their court.
you're giving them, yeah, you're exposed, getting exposure whether they take it or not. Plenty of kids, they get exposure to things and they still don't freaking listen. Some kids that have exposure through their parents or idols, they get experience with stuff and they still make their own mistakes. Like you have to make your own mistakes, but
And
at
either
least they're
way, it's going to
having
click. It's
stuff
going
put
to
in front of them.
either way, that's going to
Yeah.
click with them and sync up whether they applied or not. They're going to be like, fuck, I learned this in class for a reason,
Exactly.
right? Like, when was the last time
Exactly.
I was like, yeah, that chemistry really clicked for me. Like, this all applies to, like, my chemistry honors class, right? Like, no, it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, what you're saying, whether
Yeah.
they applied or not, at least it adds value to their life, and they can recognize, like, hey, this shit actually mattered, like, when they taught me, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I
So
completely agree.
I do like that. Yeah, I do like that, and I was actually I was pretty pleased with this topic. It was a great idea for subject matter. Um, but I think that's gonna conclude our topics for the weekend, boys.
Yeah.
Perfect timing.
That's gonna be our last thing for the week. Like always, I'm gonna say it every week, or at least I'm gonna try to say it every week. It is my distinguished pleasure to be the gentleman, and I absolutely look forward to seeing you guys every week and getting to talk to you guys and share our stories, share our thoughts, and our viewpoints on stuff. So it's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed every second of it, and we will have a new episode next week, I believe, if we're still on schedule with that. And then we'll have clips, we'll have videos coming out for everybody coming up through the next week.
Woo,
we'll
editing.
have more stream. Hell yeah. We'll have more
Coach doesn't know
streams
anything
available
about
for
editing,
ourselves.
and he's like, hell yeah.
No, he doesn't. No.
He's rooting for you guys.
Yeah. He's like, hell yeah.
I'm just I'm
He's
just
like
that
sitting
dude
there
that's
like-
I'm like
like-
Rob.
Like we're editing.
I'm
and
Rob
he's like,
Schneider in
"Movie
Waterboy."
slaves, Movie slaves.
Yeah. I'm just Rob Schneider in Waterboy. I'm just like, you can do it. I'm just that guy that just yells. I don't do jack shit, but no, I think we'll if I'm not mistaken, we're gonna have another cooking Junto next week. So prepare to salivate and add another food item to your menu. We'll have another gym Junto with myself. So prepare to get your sweat on with that. But
You're
like
going
always,
this weekend, right?
go to
Yeah.
G's
I'll be
going
on
this
this
weekend.
What's up?
Yeah. G's going this weekend.
Oh shit, we're for a real treat.
Rust?
So we are.
I don't know. It'll be a treat. I don't really know. It's whatever I'm feeling on a Saturday, you know. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Rust is always fun, but it's been rough playing alone. Most of the
Yeah.
servers are like duo or like 2 people or more.
Yeah.
So like even if I'm playing by myself, like I'm going against 2 people normally or 3 at the minimum. And yeah, it's just been tough, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way, I'm going to be streaming games on Saturday. So stay tuned for
Nice.
that. But
I will
yeah,
try.
Thanks, Coach.
I'll try and get
Oh,
on
yeah.
with you if I can
Let's
get
build
some.
a snowman together.
Oh yes. If I can get the videos done. I'm
Jesus.
actually going golfing with my dad on
Oh, okay.
Saturday
Very cool.
afternoon. So yeah, I should be able
Nice.
to get on with you hopefully.
No worries.
Well, everyone wish Nightmare good luck in golf, and
Golf
may the
gods.
ball fly straight. Yeah, may the golf gods shine upon you, Nightmare. But like always, check out our YouTube page, check out our Instagram for updates and for reels and videos and information. Go ahead, subscribe to our YouTube as well, so you guys get notifications when we post stuff. But that's going to do it for us tonight. I'm Coach with Long Live Junto, and we will see you guys next week.
I don't want to
Yeah,
wait
stream.
for
Oh my God.
And copyright strike.
Yeah.
That was a good sign off right there.